What's going on, people? Let me see. Waiting on this thing to pop up. So now things are looking pretty good. And it's like I tried to stream multiple times and I didn't change anything. I'm basically back to where I started, but now it looks like it's supposed to look. So not sure what the deal was. Might have been a StreamYard. It could have been a YouTube thing, maybe they just weren't having the best 20 minutes or something. Wouldn't be the first time their services kind of fell by the wayside for a bit. But either way, I'm here now, so that's cool, I suppose. But like I said before, Survivor Series is on. It's probably not going to be all that great because lately the WWE as a whole hasn't been all that great. I was at SmackDown a couple of weeks ago. Was that last week? And that was really good. But sometimes sometimes shows just get lucky, and sometimes it's just a matter of being there. So that can be a factor in it. But Survivor Series of like, if you were to take the clock back 20 years or so, yeah, I would have no doubt that this would probably be a really good show. But here we are, it's 2021. Things are just not the way they were a while ago. And I get it, times change, things change, or whatever. But sometimes things don't change for the better, right? I think we can all agree to that. I'm sure we all have some examples of things that were a lot better in their previous form. So hopefully, I'm still going to watch this with an open mind, but that's where the whole figure thing comes in. 313 Retro Queen, hey to you too. Haven't seen you around in a while. I know you kind of took a break from the YouTube thing, and I totally get it. I think about the same thing all the time myself. It's time consuming, and at the end of the day, it's kind of like I can meet some cool people doing this, but why am I doing this? Like, for me, it comes down to a matter of just having a lot of free time. So it's like, yeah, whatever. It's not really taking me away from anything. But I thought about it a little more when I was doing the whole school thing recently, because it's like I need to focus on that. And this is just something I do. But, anyways, how's everybody doing out there? Austin Theory's coming out. This guy, maybe this will be the rejuvenation he needs because he's been not so great over the last while. I mean, I was cool with the way thing, right? It worked out just fine, but something about the way he was presented was a little weird because they said, oh, he's going to be this amazing dude. And then he came in and he was like this all right dude. That's about how long it's been since I've watched wrestling. It's like basketball just can't get with the new stuff. I was never a big basketball guy, right? I'm going to open some figures while I'm here because I got a new shelf and now I need to put stuff on it. So I was never a huge basketball guy. I did watch in, let's see, it would have been like 96 to maybe like 99, something like that. I had 3 years of not quite being like a serious fan, but more of like a casual viewer, So this is the Fiend figure. It's actually his last one that was released. I bought it because it comes with a title, and I needed one of these, so that's cool. But yeah, so I was watching basketball then, and it was entertaining in some ways, only because the team that I liked, which was the Bulls, was doing pretty well. So if your team is doing all right, cool. Now I say, the Bulls and all that because partly I think it might have been that I was growing up in Iowa and that was like the popular team because it was like a couple hours away. But at the same time, they were kind of like the team, you know what I'm saying? But on a personal level, like Dennis Rodman is and always will be the only basketball player that has ever mattered, in my personal opinion. And I get a lot of people are going to disagree with that for a lot of reasons that are very valid. But screw your reasons. What I think is what I think, and that's what I go by. So, let's get this thing out of here. I'll tell you, with these little plastic pieces they have in here, these things get like trapped. Kind of forget about that. So anyways, yeah, that was, I don't know, it was so long ago. And now, like, I still, to this day, like, I like Orlando. Like, if I'm watching for some reason, I'll go for the team if it's Orlando or the Raptors or the Celtics. Orlando, because I really like Orlando, like as a city. I have had many good times there. When it comes to the Celtics, I just like green, and they have green uniforms. I get there are other teams with green, but they're the first ones that I noticed. And then the Raptors, when I was in 8th grade, is when the Raptors came out, right? And I had a jersey, Stoudemire jersey, number 20. And I was like, yeah, this is a pretty cool jersey. It's got this dinosaur on it. And that's really the only reason I like the Raptors. But they don't seem to be a bad team, or at least not in 2019. They weren't, because that's when they won the championship. But past that, yeah, Rodman, he was. So I will agree that he is. There you go. There's this guy, the Fiend. I will agree that Rodman is seemingly underrated because even to me, I did not realize how good that dude was until I was watching that Last Dance documentary. And I saw that, and they were all talking about how good he was, and like him matching up with people that are like just towering over him, and being able to just like manipulate everyone into like where he needs to be or whatever, as far as his movements and stuff goes. And then just him studying the way the ball like always bounces off the rim and stuff, knowing where he needs to be. Yeah, like the mental side of that's crazy to me. Like, I mean, I can't catch a like anything basically. So that kind of coordination, well beyond my means. And then if it's like a football or something, how like if football hits the ground, it just kind of bounces wherever. If someone tosses a football to me and I miss it, because of that, like I don't even try. I just wait for it to stop, and then maybe I'll pick it up. Usually not. But anyways, so yeah, Rodman, he was like my guy, And then he was in wrestling for a while. Sid Justice, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, then he was on there for a while, and so that was pretty cool. He was hanging out with Hogan, and who else was it? Karl Malone was there for a bit too. Forget why he's wearing this referee thing, but there's a reason for it. So, looks like we are now on to the men's 5-on-5 Survivor Series, right? Jeez. These things are like in here, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't mess around with these Survivor or with these action figures, And they're like so noisy. I never really thought about that until now. Yeah, so this one I really wanted because it just seemed kind of like a cool figure. I don't have a whole lot of memories of the guy or whatever, but I do remember, like everybody does, him snapping his leg in half. And that was ridiculous. Oh my God, like I remember watching that like it was yesterday for the first time. I was just like, this dude. Like, I mean, I didn't really take in the full gravity of the situation because I was like, how old would I have been? 17? Maybe 16? I don't know. But I was watching that and I'm like, well, that's no good. Let's see. Need to remember to put these pieces somewhere where I can get to them. Because if I mix up all these like extra hands and whatever, that becomes a problem. That's why I have like, these bags, right? So if you're like an action figure guy, getting these bags that have like the labels on them, it's kind of the way to go. You know what I'm saying? You just write on them there, whatever it is. That way you can keep up with stuff. Because if you end up with like something like this, it's fairly easy, right? But when it's Sid and it's just like a white dude with white hands, that could be anybody. There's a lot of white dudes out there. I don't know if you've noticed. So, speaking of white dudes, Sheamus is coming into the ring now. And I say that because he's like the whitest dude, You ever seen him, you know what I'm talking about. It's like looking into a light bulb. It's weird, At least to me. Maybe it's normal where he comes from, over in Scotland or something. Ireland, maybe? Wherever he's from, it might be okay. I mean, not okay. It might be your average look. Seth freaking Rollins, if you want to use his whole government name. Huge fan of this guy. When I got back into watching wrestling, one of the guys that I kind of gravitated towards was Seth Rollins. Only because when he was introduced to the ring, they were like, from Davenport, Iowa. And I'm like, oh, hey, I'm from Davenport, Iowa. So he became my guy. And then it worked out all right because later on, when I started like seeing more of the shows and stuff, I was like, okay, this guy's actually like really good. So it made sense to go for him. It wasn't just like, how some people, they have those hometown teams and like the team sucks, but like people cheer for them even though they know they're not going to win anything ever. Yeah, I was hoping it didn't become one of those situations, and it didn't. So that's cool. But anyway, let's see, what channel are you watching? I'm watching Peacock. It's a streaming service. It's the NBC streaming service. So I don't know if these pay-per-views are free on there or what. I think it is. But I have like some plan where I pay like $4.99 a month, and it's supposed to, I guess, limit the number of ads I see, like like commercials or whatever, something like that. I don't know. You know how when you start like buying stuff, sometimes you just kind of like start to lose focus on what you're really paying for. And at this point, I got a bunch of streaming services. This is just another one on the list. I'm gonna have a lot of garbage later. If you saw the thumbnail that was used in this picture, you know what I'm talking about. So Seth Rollins, back when he was doing his thing with Mysterio, right? That's why it's got like was it Halloween Havoc 96 or 97 when Mysterio fought Eddie Guerrero? He's got the ring gear based off of that match, right? So kind of a cool look, at least in my opinion, anyways. So go ahead and drop this down in here. This all comes from the SummerSlam pack. Yeah, the SummerSlam pack. Well, he just fell. So just drop these things all down in here. Keep this thing moving. And once again, see, like I was saying, white dude with white hands, right? The Miz. So it gets hard to kind of keep up with all that stuff because they are all just very much the same. You know? And I'll put this belt somewhere, keep that with the Fiend. Now, what I don't understand is why they didn't give me the Fiend title. Like, I don't know that any figure actually came with that. So, I mean, obviously it would have matched up a little bit more. I get that this was the title he had, but I'd rather him be made with the belt that he had, if that makes sense. So, anyways, now we've got Drew McIntyre out here. So now it's a party, right? Because he's like the big main guy on the team or whatever. In this particular match, right, the Survivor Series where they do like the actual elimination style, now that is the stuff that I like to see. And I say that because when I was younger and I first got into this stuff, that was pretty much what made up Survivor Series. I mean, I'm assuming they had also like the one-on-one matches. I really don't remember. But the highlight of the night was this. You know, like you build up, you got like the Patriot and a bunch of people, and he's mad at like the Hart Foundation or whatever the situation is. And it was just pretty cool, you know? But then as you move on into the future, into the now, things just aren't quite what I want them to be. So, Bobby Lashley looking just as confused. I don't know, like, Bobby Lashley, like, when he's in his moments and he's being, like, super intense, you can buy into that. But you sometimes, like, catch him in the background, and dude looks like he has no idea where he is. Don't tell him I said that, because I don't know if he's, like, the type that gets mad or whatever, but if he comes along and tries to fight me, like, that could be a problem, mostly for him, but, you know, a problem all the same. So, moving on, get these fingers. See, this is the Miz fingers. They're just pointing. Comes with some extra glasses and whatnot. So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a fan of the Miz because he's one of the... I know his style isn't like overly entertaining, but as a wrestler, he is entertaining. Especially when he was doing that thing with Daniel Bryan in like, was that 2017 or 18 or something? So there you go, the Miz, right? Now all these figures that I'm opening here, like I've already showed them off on like various reviews over the channel or whatever. But now that I have an actual shelf, a new shelf, oh man, is Kevin Owens about to just walk out on the team? Now that I have an actual new shelf, I have room to actually put this stuff out somewhere. Let's go ahead and open this thing up, see what's going on under here. And nothing, just has like the normal tights and stuff, right? Oh, look at that. Kevin Owens just walked out on his team. After all that stuff about, you know, how he was a changed man and all that, looks like not so much. But, you know, maybe that's just to set up something with him and Rollins or whatever, or him and somebody. And now 313 is laughing at something. I have no idea what, though. Could have been anything. Probably something I said because, that's kind of how that goes. But yeah, I need to get more of these little labeled bags. Like, things are super handy. So, anyways, moving along. Got Xavier Woods in the ring now, going up with Austin Theory. I would imagine on their own, like these two could probably put on a pretty entertaining match, because they both have not the same styles, but they have styles that seem like they could kind of go together, a little bit of the power, a little bit of the fast move. Yeah, dude looking like, oh, yeah, dude, like if you, I'm guessing you probably don't know what Bobby Lashley looks like, and I don't have any figures or whatever, but if you look at pictures of him, like you could probably imagine just how vacant his stare could be at times. He's just like, wait, what? I gotta, body slam? That's just how that's just how I imagine things going with him sometimes. I'm actually trying to see if I can find this on TV. Yeah, so I use like the Peacock application on the old phone here. That's how I'm watching it, streamed over to the TV. Since Ian McFly always, yeah, I wonder where they are right now. I was gonna ask them if they wanted to jump in here and watch wrestling with me or whatever, because Eve, Bunny, Shoes will often text me and stuff while these things are going on, but since he isn't doing that, I'm assuming that he's busy. Busy doing what? I have no idea. Eating coconuts and pineapples? I guess that's what they do in Hawaii. I mean, I've never been, right? And to be completely honest, like a lot of people are like, oh man, I want to go visit Hawaii. I've never had that feeling. I mean, I've heard different things. This is Carmel. I was just kind of looking this thing over. I've heard mixed things about like Hawaii. Some people are into it because they're like, oh yeah, it's like an island life and there's beaches and water and stuff. There's a beach like right over there, right? Well, like 30 minutes right over there. And I'm not isolated from civilization. So for those reasons, I'm like, I don't think I have a reason to go to Hawaii. There might be some good things about it. I'm not going to say that there isn't, right? I'm sure it has its own little appeal. But just for me, no. Like I hear people talk about like how they have to spend all this extra money on stuff because it's so expensive to get things ordered over there. I'm like, things are already expensive. So no, thank you. Apparently, I get Peacock for free. Oh, huh. Look at that. But now I'm good on Hawaii. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, I've seen pictures, and don't get me wrong, it looks like it could be nice, And if Hawaii was like a couple hours away, like I could see going there, right? Like, I'll take a little weekend drive or something. But it's not. It's super far. I don't know how far, but it takes like, doesn't take like a whole day to get there or something on an airplane. And airplanes move fairly quickly. So I'm just kind of like, no. Anyway, so going on in the match here, nothing too crazy. It's just a normal back and forth. Got Finn Balor in there. I'm a huge Finn Balor guy, though. When I went to one of my first, was it the first NXT show I went to? Yeah, the first NXT show I went to, 2015, San Jose. I remember seeing his entrance because it was maybe 10, 15 feet to my side, because I had like not the greatest seats for watching entrances, but a decent seat for watching the matches. And I was like, man, whatever's going on here, this is pretty awesome. But moving on, seeing more matches of him later. I think the next year was Texas. So the next year I saw him against Samoa Joe, and that was a good one. I mean, he put on it's like all his matches in NXT were solid. You can't complain about any of them, And then he moved to the main roster and left a little something behind, apparently. He started off fine. He kind of had that very short run, like it's like a day, I think, with the belt. And then he disappeared for a while for, an injury. And just, that was it, really. And then he just kind of came back and he had a match with AJ Styles at some point. That was pretty cool, but that wasn't even supposed to happen. So I don't know, man. I want to see more things out of Mr. Balor, but maybe some other time, you know. I'm not going to say his best days are behind him, but a lot of this comes down to how people want to treat people. And then there's Carmella, right? So, huge fan of hers. Like I was saying earlier today in a review that you haven't seen yet because it hasn't been edited, I was very surprised to see her be like the person that actually stuck around. You know, when you look at like Enzo and Cass. So that was very unexpected to me. So up next, got this is like the WrestleMania, is it 12? I forget which WrestleMania, but there's Shawn Michaels, Goldberg, Edge, and China. So a lot of these are still in. Actually, I think all of these might still be in stores. Some of them are just a little harder to find than others. Geez, the ring seems a lot smaller than back in the day. Well, I mean, it might be that it's just like full of dudes right now, you know? Now, it's possible that it is also physically smaller. I did not want to buy this figure because I think Goldberg is trash, right? And so I didn't want any of my money to go to his well being or whatever. But I had all the other three dudes. And so I was like, well, if I want to create this guy, I need to just buy this thing. And so against my better judgment, I did buy it, and now here it is. And at the time, I was like, well, at least it'll come with this belt right here, right? But then I just got one out of this Fiend box, so that was largely unnecessary. But yeah, you know, sometimes you just don't like stuff. And Goldberg is one of those things that I don't like. Could be partly a grudge, if you want to call it that, because like when I was in high school and he was super overrated, it's like, oh, he's undefeated because he beat Hugh Morris and Disco Inferno. It's like, so hasn't everybody beat Hugh Morris and Disco Inferno? It meant nothing to me. That's how I felt about my LeBron Funko. Okay, see, I'm glad to know I'm not the only one out here just like buying stuff because it kind of makes sense, but like you don't really want it. So now, obviously, nobody was like putting a gun to my head and making me buy these things. I did do it because I make my own decisions. I'm an adult, right? But sometimes there are things you don't like. So, okay, Finn Balor is in there with what's name? Jeff Hardy now. Looks like he got rid of Happy Corbin, I think is his name now, or whatever. I assume that because I saw him doing the coup de grace. This thing is not even trying to come out of here. Everything else, see, you know, Goldberg always causing problems. But I mean, and this is like the head to the dude, you know, Paul Ellering. Hey man, I respect your collecting. You're a cool dude. Thanks. My mom thinks I'm pretty cool too, but you know, there's a slight bias in there, I think. But yeah, so I do my share of the collecting, you know. A lot of action figures. If you saw the thumbnail, you know what I'm talking about. There's also some Marvel things as well that aren't pictured because no reason to. And then big He-Man guy because, you know, I grew up at the right time. And I'm kind of branching out into like the Marvel things, which is kind of a mistake, right? Because there's a lot of Marvel stuff out there that looks really good. And I want all of it. So that's kind of a problem. Do you collect anything, Kinnison? You know, there was a band called the Kinnison years ago. I can't remember like that one song I liked of theirs, but oh man, it was on the Dragging the Lake album. Well, it was like one of the Atticus albums. Man, I wish I could remember the name of that song. But yeah, so the Kinnison, they had a pretty awesome run, at least in my eyes, in that particular year. But then I think they just kind of disappeared. So there he is, Bill Goldberg, just as plain as he is worthless, with his title that he did not deserve. But let's go ahead and strap that around his waist or whatever. See, nobody wanted this. All right, we're gonna put those hands. Okay, those are up there. So yeah, that's the thing. I'm trying to think of that song by the Kinnison. Actually, which network am I on right now? Because if I might be able to just look it up. Because it's one of those things where it's really, I don't want to say bothered me, but I'm trying to wonder what was the name of that song. The Kinnison. What are you listening? What are you listening to? Oh yeah, You'll Never Guess Who Died. That was the one. Awesome song though. Like for a long time, it's on my running playlist, and like whenever I heard it, it was like I was invincible, you know. And I could just run like the wind. I don't know if I was really running like the wind, but in my mind, I was. Though to be fair, at times I can be fairly quick. Moving right along. So I collect. Oh wait, I had to fall back from Marvel. I do not need another expensive habit. Like, and that's the thing, you know, like they're not expensive, but they add up quickly, you know? So, I mean, you look at a pair of shoes and it's like, oh, like $150, $160 later, you know, you have one. When it comes to the figures, you're like, okay, well, this is like $12, not 12, $20 later, you know, you pick something up. And so you think, oh, that's not so bad. But then you're like, oh, well, let me get China too, you know? Then you're at 40. Next thing you know, you're, well, if I'm halfway through the set, let me just go ahead and spend the whole 80. So, yeah, I have some mixed feelings about the whole figure thing as well, because it's a cool thing, and I do like that I can display them without having to, you know, make up a whole lot of space. I did have to buy that shelf, but it's a normal bookshelf style thing, and I can, you know, it's made for like DVDs and books or whatever. I can put a whole bunch of these on there. It's not a big deal. Oh, there goes Bobby Lashley, being just as intense as the day is long. Let's see. I collect Sammy Sosa cards and pro wrestling crates and Ronda Rousey. Okay, cool. Yeah, I do the pro wrestling crate myself. Have you ever tried the what was that thing called? The WWE Slam crates? I've done a couple videos of those, and man, are they not good, especially compared to like the pro wrestling crate. It's just one of the worst things out there. Okay, now we got Finn Balor and Seth Rollins kind of teaming up, taking care of some business. So that, well, I was gonna say like that's a match that I wouldn't mind seeing, but last time we saw that, Finn Balor kind of disappeared into obscurity for a long time. So maybe I don't want to see that again, you know? So yeah, when I was younger, I used to collect the Marvel cards. See, there he goes. There's old Lost Lashley. You saw it, like the camera was on him for a split second. And he was like trying to gather his thoughts, I guess. Shawn Michaels, though, like this guy, this was the one that I kind of just had to have, you know. If I only bought one of the set, it would have been him. That dude's really bleeding. I must have missed something looking away for a minute. But that's the thing people do, you know. It's a pretty physical sport, so the blood is going to happen. Let's see. Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. I tell you this, I feel like we all got enough of that last year. I think it was last year, right? Maybe it was earlier this year. Either way, enough of that has happened already. So, but whatever. I think, because was it WrestleMania? Yeah, it was WrestleMania. Around that time. And WrestleMania is coming around soon. You know, it'll be in Dallas this year. So I just picked up my tickets last week. I'll be out there with Mom and Dad. Dad's a big Cowboys fan. So I figured let's go ahead and go see the Cowboys Stadium. But I'm not going to go there for like a football game because that would be a waste of my time personally. So I figured we can kind of kill two birds with one stone or whatever. So he gets to see the place and all that crap. I get to see some wrestling. And Mom will be there too, hanging out. And oh, look, there he is. There's McFly. What's going on, Mr. McFly? On the Ghost Channel? What does that even mean? I have no idea. Like, are you saying like you were just kind of like sitting in the background or whatever, just kind of waiting on your time to say something, jump in? Either way, appreciate you stopping in. I saw you just put up your Cool Gray 11 video. I haven't watched it because I may go for those myself at some point. If you care to jump in, there is the link in the chat. You can jump in, say whatever you want to say about whatever you think. You can talk about this fancy Shawn Michaels figure that I have and reminisce about the glory days of when he was the showstopper. Oh, okay. You know, I didn't even notice that was like the Funko one. I just saw McFly and just accepted it as, yeah, that's McFly. I know that dude. I was actually just talking about you earlier today in a review, so stay tuned for that. It wasn't good. I'm just going to put that out there right now. I did not have nice things to say. But they were accurate, so there is that. Man, these things are like, it's like they double did this or something. Like it's extra thick plastic or whatever. So, got some wrestling figures. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why these things are like so much stiffer than usual today. So he's got two channels. Yeah, he's got two channels doing big things, you know, trying to lay low from the government or something probably. I don't know what the dude's deal is, but he's doing what works for him, you know? Man, this is a lot of stuff going on. Like who's, you know, I mean, I guess at the time it was kind of like the thing to do, maybe. And I wouldn't have thought to like wear something like this, but you know, I guess if offered, you know, and they had a short sleeve version, then I'd consider wearing it. Because, you know, I'm not a long sleeve kind of guy. But anyway, so McFly, how are things going? What were you up to today? You say you just got home. I assume you were out bullying people and whatnot because that's a thing that he does. Don't let him lie to you, folks. McFly is not the nicest dude out there in these YouTube streets. Let's see. Definitely ducking the feds. See, told you. Right on cue. Right on cue. Well, then again, like I say that, but I forget there's a time delay in here and stuff like that. So these are the Shawn Michaels ones. All right. I'll just put those there. It's going to be hard to kind of keep some of this stuff straight. Okay, so this dude with the red hair has got to be who you were referring to as whiter than... Yeah. Super white, right? Just like he was... like he was just born in the snow and just like caked it all over his body and was like, yep, we're good now. So, I mean, he's doing all right. He's got a good run in as far as like the wrestling thing goes. But, well, okay, I say that, and then he just gets kicked in the chest. So, outside of that, you know, oh, Finn, what are you doing? See, this is the problem here. I don't care for what just happened, you know, and I get that wrestling is, you know, it's kind of like one big story or whatever, but you can still dislike things, you know what I'm saying? But either way, hopefully Austin Theory gets in here and like avenges what just happened with Finn Balor. Who thinks McFly is nice? Nobody at all to answer that question. Let's see. I spent the day with the fam and mini-me. Had a great day. Got to wind down. No, you don't. It's like 9:10. What is wrong with you, man? Live life. Get out there. You know, go do some coke or something. You know, keep yourself awake. But or maybe not. You know, a lot of people frown on that actually. So here we got Seth Rollins and Sheamus. I guess it's because a lot of these guys have been around for so long, but like you see these matchups and you're just like, I've seen this so many times. Now McFly is lying to the people, saying he's a nice guy. Unless he's comparing himself to somebody that nobody knows. I mean, that could be it. Hey, McFly, have you watched any of those Dark Side of the Ring episodes? Like, I heard the one about China was really good. So I guess I think her sister was on there or something like that. Either way, supposedly they covered a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of things that people kind of just overlooked over the years as far as like how hard life was for like in certain eras or whatever. So I'm a little behind on things like that, but I do need to get to those at some point. And then I don't know what this guy's name was. This little puppet thing that comes with the what's his name? Paul Ellering. Man, this thing does not care to focus at all. But I don't know. I just blame that on it being a webcam, and webcams just kind of do their own thing a lot of the time. Jeff Hardy. But yeah, you see a lot of the same matchups over time. Like once people have been there forever, you know. Let's see. I think that's 6. How many boxes have opened so far? I don't even know, man. I'm just opening stuff and talking about crap and then moving on. But I'm probably not going to get to all of these tonight. I should be able to make a decent dent in this little stack, though. But I'll probably finish the other ones like over like Instagram things or something. Let's see. So yeah, China got the title there, right? The old women's title before it was like the Diva title, and of course I put that on upside down, but you know, mistakes happen. But yeah, man, like China was pretty all right, you know. She started off as, you know, just some sort of dude woman basically, but then eventually became a little more ladyish, if you want to call it that. And that's when I was like, okay, like now she's starting to be her own person, you know, because before she was just like the DX lady, you know, the enforcer, her and Rick Rude. So it's cool though, you know. I just kind of, it'd be nice in some ways, I guess. Well, I was gonna say it'd be nice if she had been able to get her own solo run earlier, but at that point, you know, it's probably best that she stick around with Triple H for just a little longer because, you know, I think it really worked out for the better. You know, as far as being able to like make sure they both were in a good place before they parted ways, because sometimes people split up and it's like a little too early. This Edge figure looks weird to me. I'll show it to you again once I get it out of the box or whatever. I'm sure he has about 27 left. And there's probably like 27 in this part of this layout here. I mean, it's a lot of them. It is, because like over the last several months, I mean, I've got like 3 waves of AEW figures, which is 6 apiece, so that's 18 right there. I have the whole 2 fan takeover series, so that's 8. You know, so those numbers combined is some higher number. And then you mix in the other ones. Actually, wait, where's that one I was talking to you about the other day? Let me pull this thing out. Jump ahead just a little bit. Kind of, sort of. I brought this up the other day for some reason. The Vader, like I was saying, he's got like the Mastodon thing going on. This particular figure, it's kind of hard to find. I don't know why, because they had changed the way they were distributing their figures, like, which was for the better. But for some reason, he was still not an easy dude to come across. And why is that every dude that I've opened from this pack has came with like normal hands with like just like some black gloves, like the fingerless gloves? I don't know what the deal is there. And you know, looking at it now, there's another head with this Paul Ellering. So I didn't need to buy that Goldberg. So yeah, because I mean, I guess I still did, but it's because Goldberg came with this one, and then he came with this one. So I mean, I guess it's all about which one you want. But yeah, so I guess maybe I didn't necessarily need that Goldberg figure. Well, nobody needs a Goldberg figure, but you know what I'm saying. All right, is that Frog Splash going to put away Jeff Hardy? It is not, because he's Jeff Hardy, and that's just a Frog Splash, and he's not Eddie Guerrero. So that's how that works. Try to keep this noise to a minimum. But these, so I was watching the thing when they like talked about this figure, because this is, these are all WrestleMania based figures. This one was supposed to be based off of, you can see like the camouflage pants. I believe this one was based off of the match he had with Cactus Jack, does it say? Yeah. So on the back, it actually gives you like the rundown of like what the matches were that like inspired these. So there you go, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, however you want to call it. So let's take this off on the side. What's going to happen here? Ooh, that did not look good. Sometimes you see things where the impact in wrestling is like completely there. It's none of that like, oh, you can see how they just kind of barely did it. Every so often, it looks like somebody just hates somebody and just goes all out. It's like, I'm going to end this person. And that's how that looked. So yeah, he's got the little edge hands, right? The little 2-finger thing that he does. Do I watch WrestleMania? Are you asking me? Wait, did I miss some comments here? Head holding, what? No. Do I watch WrestleMania? I mean, yeah, I think we watched last year's WrestleMania together, if I remember right. You just got both of them off, him and Eliminated Dude. So now, I guess they're trying to build up Jeff Hardy to be like a credible threat for a minute, because people go through their little phases, There'll be a few weeks where like Jeff Hardy is just another dude on the show and he loses to, a good suplex. And then there'll be times when like he's, oh my God, Jeff Hardy's going to turn the tide of the match, and then all of a sudden he's like the guy, right? What? Oh. But overall, as an Iowa man, I want to see Seth Rollins win. That's just what I would like to see happen. Okay, so there's that. There is all 4 of the, where's the other one? All 4 of these here, right? So the WrestleMania pack that built Paul Ellering, that's what that's looking like. So these will all be displayed at some point later on the shelves, all that good stuff. Looking forward to it. Because buying stuff and making no use of it kind of is stupid to me. So now that I get if you don't have space to put your stuff out just yet, but you want to get it while it's like cheap. That's kind of the life I'm living over here. So up next. So fan takeover series, right? So you got this Johnny Gargano dressed like Wolverine, right? So there's going to be that for you. Got this X-Pac that comes with a Kane mask off on the side. So Kane mask over there, X-Pac in the middle, right? Christian with that big old school belt, right? Uh-oh. This could be a problem. Could be a problem as far as like the wrestling goes. Hopefully it's not. Randy Orton. Oh, okay, good. He got the knees up. Seth Rollins got the knees up. And then there's the curb stomp. All right. And that's what we needed to see, right? We, as in everybody, needed to see that. So, good. Things are moving along fine on here so far then. I know Charlotte lost the belt, and I don't have any feelings about that, honestly. Oh, yeah, she's actually... she found it on the TV, because she gets Peacock for free, apparently. When you're the queen of stuff, people just give you things, apparently. So she wasn't at first, but I was talking about it. She wanted to see what was going on. That knee to the back look thing. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, some of these things, they just look like, you can't not take that. You can't just magically stop falling out of the air. So, Randy Orton. This is my only Randy Orton figure. Not because I have anything against him, but I just never really bought one before. And he comes with the IC title, so that's kind of cool. My first one of those. A lot of firsts going on here, people. Let's see. So I'm gonna have to get this stuff labeled later. So there's those. But yeah, I mean, wrestling is like a conversation thing a lot of the times because it's not like it's always awesome or whatever, but it gives you something to talk about, you know? It's like a good background thing, which is kind of how I'm treating this. Because like I said, I don't expect amazing things out of this. What is this from? Oh, so this is also related to like Mick Foley stuff. So let's see. The Legend Killers feud with Mick Foley took it up a notch when the Evolution battled with the Rock and Sock Collection WrestleMania 20. So I vaguely remember Evolution. Let's see. You have no idea how big of a deal this is right now. 313 Watching Wrestling is front page news. Oh well. Let's pin that. So, hey man, you guys are probably trying to like force it on her and like that make her like not want to watch it. You just gotta, you know, not do that. But hey, you know, maybe she'll see something that I'm not gonna say will make her a fan, but we'll see something that she'll care to mention later. Maybe to like, oh, what? Can you believe that this thing happened? Or maybe, because like my mom, she'll watch sometimes and she'll be like, oh, wow, that guy's awesome. So we went to AEW Dynamite / Rampage on Wednesday, right? Mom and I did. And Mom, I don't know if it's always been a thing or what, but she is a huge fan of Billy Gunn. So didn't know that, you know, just he came out there and she's just a cheering and like, who was he? I forget who he was going against, but it was like somebody that was like clearly like the good guy in that situation. And it wasn't like, oh, some people like this, some people like that. Everybody's cheering for like the one team, and she's just like, no. Was it? I think it was Darby Allin. Yeah, it was Darby Allin. So it was Billy Gunn versus Darby Allin, and you know Darby's like one of the main dudes in like AEW right now, and everybody there is like so excited to see him, you know, wrestling and all that stuff. And then there's my mom, the one person not having it. So it is what it is, though. Let's see. It really is. You tune out when they start with. Yeah, you know, I do that all the time. Like, there are people that I work with, like, they'll sit there right next to me and they'll be having a conversation, you know, like a little AB conversation. And, well, what do you think, Tristan? I'm like, I heard such and such, and I realized that was not a conversation for me, so I just blocked out everything you guys were talking about. And they're like, oh, you know, like, gotta be honest with the people, you know? Not doing it to be rude, just doing it because I don't care. So if they want my input on something, they gotta go, hey, Tristan, listen to this. Blah, 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 blah. Then they have a better chance of me, like, actually having a response. So, been wanting a Christian figure for a while. So there's this one. Pretty cool, though. Get this thing out of here. Let's see. I think it's got to be like 100 years. Oh, Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon is like, Jesus. Like, yeah. He still seems to be like, hold on. He still seems to be doing all right for his age, you know what I'm saying? As far as like getting around on his own or whatever. Because I see people that are like 50 and just can barely stand up without like, you know, a miracle. Oh, look, and now there's Roman Reigns. He's another guy that I'm not really into. And I know that like everybody's like, oh, you gotta like Roman Reigns. It's like, not really. Because I don't. Let's see how this goes. It's making him a bunch of money, though. Or maybe they're making each other a bunch of money. It's like I'm partially interested to see what they say, what they're talking about, but not really at the same time. And since I have the sound down so I don't get any weird copyright things, I can't really hear much anyway. Hey, Tito, what's going on, man? I'm just over here opening up a bunch of action figures and watching wrestling, talking to the crowd, you know. It's kind of one of those things I do from time to time. It's just like, sometimes if there's something that I need to do while I sit down and do whatever, I'll turn on the YouTube live thing and I'll just kind of sit here and see who shows up and see what they care to talk about. So right now, I mean, this is like the main thing that's going on or whatever, sure. But how are things going with you? I saw you briefly on I think on Instagram the other day. You and Matt talking about something. I forget what it was. So I was only in there for a few minutes. But yeah, just doing the normal stuff, you know. It's kind of one of those. I only do so much of the shoe stuff, you know. Got to split the difference, you know. Talk about some of the other things that I'm into. Otherwise, it gets too repetitive. Who's the main event? You know, that's a question you would think that I would have an answer to, and that's probably why you asked. But I honestly don't know. Because I don't know if they're doing... Who's the champ right now? Well, I mean, I just saw Roman Reigns, and he didn't look like he was wrestling or anything. And the other champ was Big E, so it might be Big E versus somebody, but lots of times they do like something else as the main event. So I don't know. That's a good question, and it's just honestly one that I haven't thought of until right now. So let's see. Okay. So this is from when Christian beat Randy Orton for the title. So I guess it's kind of cool that I have a Randy Orton figure now. I can put them side by side or whatever. But there you go. That's Christian. Looks like the quality has taken quite a hit over here on YouTube. And that's the same problem I was having earlier. The stream was going on fine for a while, and now it looks like some old dial-up stuff has happened, which I am not a fan of. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on with that. And I need to see which one of these hands went to which person, because I honestly don't remember. I feel like these would have been... Okay, so all of these... I don't know why Christian came with 4 hands. Actually, you know what? Now I do. When you stop to think about a question as you're about to ask it, sometimes that's when you realize you know the answer. So, Tito, tell me, how would you feel about being in a sneaker battle sometime? I mean, I know you only have like your own interest or whatever, so I would make sure like the questions are at least, you know, friendly to being open-ended. I'm not going to ask for anything specific that people don't have. Like, there's no, oh, let me see like your favorite LeBron 7 or something like that. But just overall, in general stuff, you know, favorite colorways, you know, shoe you bought last year, just standard questions like that. Because it is about time for me to do another one of those battles and stuff. So it's kind of want to see who all out there cares to be in one. Because I've been using a lot of the same people, right? Which is fine because they seem to be into it. But just to kind of keep things interesting, I like to switch it up just a bit if I can. Okay, trying to get this belt on here. So now, get one of these bags for the Christian pieces. But, okay, it looks like the stream has kind of evened out just a little bit now, so that's good. Oh, the Street Profits. Now, this is one of my favorite teams right here. They came out strong, you know what I'm saying? But then something happened, and they just kind of fell by the wayside for a little bit. The movie. What movie? Did I miss something about them? What movie are you talking about? Oh, I was just watching this movie about Cleopatra's eggs. Okay, yeah, I did not see that. What? So I guess, what is this? Oh, this must be one of those battle royal things. So up next, got this right here, X-Pac. I have no idea what the reason for this next match is, but it's a big battle royal sort of thing, right? So probably some like number one contender thing of some sort, you know. I would imagine that that's what happens with like the winner. But in the meantime, it's probably just to kind of say which brand is like the best brand, you know. And now they're giving out pizzas or something. Must be some kind of tie-in with Pizza Hut. So I don't know about you guys. Pizza Hut, not really my favorite thing, right? As far as pizzas go. I'm not going to say it's terrible, but I just think there are better things out there. I do kind of like Papa John's a fair amount, but I haven't had them lately. Mostly just because there's a Domino's like right down the street, like a few minutes away or something, or at least close enough that I'm within their like delivery range. So usually I order from Domino's because I don't have to get it myself. If I have to go get it myself, then I'd probably buy a little bit more of the Papa John's. Recruiting. Man, is he out already? Oh, look, now there's Big Omos. So I guess he's going to throw out a bunch of people, do the same thing that like Kane would normally do or the Big Show because he's like 18 feet tall. The movie is red. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, they did some tie-in during a pay-per-view a while ago. It was something about zombies. That movie with Batista in it, it went straight to Netflix. You know, it was one of those Netflix movies. Yep. Go ahead and get this thing out of here. Jeez. And now you got Otis. So Otis, I don't know, like they treat him like he's just some fat dude there to eat, you know, but he's actually been in some really good matches though. So I don't know what's going on here between R-Truth and hey, R-Truth is wearing those up tempos that I don't like. The Peace Love Swoosh pack ones. I got the Hirachis, and the Hirachis are good, but the up tempo was not done so well. The Air Max 90 was pretty decent too. Let's see. Why are we see? That's my question. It's like it made sense to someone in some kind of way. So X-Pac right there. Of course, not focusing because that's just how this camera is. Oh, maybe you just got to find like the right area or something. But yeah, so got this X-Pac here, so that's pretty cool. He's got the crotch chop hands, I guess is what's going on here. And I don't know why he comes with a Kane mask, but I guess like I can take off this bandana and put this on here. And now he's Kane Pac, which is there a reason for this? I don't remember. But it's a thing that's going on, so it's kind of cool, I guess. But we'll go ahead and put the bandana back on him because that's just what looks right. You ever listen to X-Pac's podcast? I haven't, but I'm just curious if it's, good. So, pull out another one of these bags. So, man, there's some... These are all the people that, like, just... It's like they just wanted to fill out the crowd, or fill out the card. And so it's like, all right, everybody who wasn't in one of the main matches, let's just go ahead and throw them in this. So it kind of sucks, but I guess at least they're on there. So X-Pac things. this is ridiculous. How much you would think that, like, as an action figure guy, that I'd be a little quicker to get these things popped out of here. Not so much. Now you've got like one big dude versus another big dude that's not as big as he thinks he is. Because he's not standing up to the black guy, that's for sure. He's like significantly taller, it seems. And like wider, you know? Oh, yeah. And he just threw him out like nothing. So that was very anticlimactic. So what is this? In 2002, X-Pac rejoined Holland. Okay, that has... Oh, that's right. This is a fan takeover. Let's see. I got the 90s and I like them. Much of the rest aren't my cup of tea. Okay, now this is just too much going on. Yeah. So the thing about these, right? You got a lot of filler stuff that happens. And then it'll get down to like the last 6 people. And that's when it becomes to be something, you know? Because one team will like outnumber the other team. And then somebody will kind of like make some sort of big comeback and like some surprise elimination. And then things get evened out. And so, oh my God, what's going to happen? You know? They have their stories that they tell, like any other movie, you know? If you watch enough of this stuff, you'll see it's all very much the same. The only thing is, like, it's like watching any other action movie, you know? Or like one of those Christmas movies that my mom's always watching. It's like there's something, and then somebody wants to tear down this house, and it's like, oh no, they need to raise some money. It's like, yeah, they always have something where somebody wants to do something, and then some miracle has to happen. So you just change a couple of variables in there, you know, like a Mad Libs thing, and that's the way wrestling works. They do a lot of the same stuff over and over, presented slightly differently. Oh, and there goes AJ Styles out of nowhere. Dolph Ziggler used to matter also. Not so much anymore for some reason. Let's see. This is the fan takeover Johnny Gargano. Like I was saying, he's kind of dressed like Wolverine. And this is, let's see, he's the Rebel Heart of NXT, battled Adam Cole in a brutal 2 out of 3 falls match. So I do remember that happening. That was pretty good. But, you know, to be fair, you know, I mean, I haven't really seen any bad matches out of either of those guys, especially not like one-on-one together. What is going on here? Sami Zayn is trying to get the what's that? Rally the troops or whatever. He's got Cesaro and Ricochet. So there's the little Wolverine style thing. He's pretty big on like the cosplay and stuff, apparently. Like not just in the wrestling world, but like in real life, I guess. Because he's been on a lot of the action figure things and talking about stuff. So it's pretty cool though. I'll let you know my work schedule is crazy lately. Hey, that's totally cool. I get it. When I do these, I usually just kind of figure out who wants to be in one and then just kind of build it up around whatever they can do. So if you can make something work, you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. You know, no stress over it or anything. Work actually, like, you know, puts money in your pockets and food is on your tables or whatever. YouTube just offers a little bit of entertainment. So if there's one thing that you should always prioritize, it's definitely the work stuff, right? So I get that. I'm not going to hold that against you in any sort of way whatsoever. I'm just kind of lucky for me, you know, like I work just 8-hour days, 5 days a week. Very much, you know, the same stuff all the time, unless I need to like make up some hours or, you know, so I might work a little extra on a Tuesday so I can leave early on a Wednesday. Let's see. Okay, now you just... So what have you been picking up lately, Tito? I think I still have a couple reviews to do soon. Got some trail shoes, and those Krusty Burgers are coming in soon. Supposedly coming in soon. Because I got through... Well, I won't say I got through on those, but I don't know what the deal was, because like they said that the Krusty Burgers were going to be up for 48 hours. So it almost made it seem like to me, that almost sounds like a pre-order situation where like they'll just take orders for that long. But I made my order and it shipped out like the same day or something. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing over there. But I'm looking forward to them because so far all the Simpsons shoes that I've seen have been solid. A lot of S's there. So now, see, like I was saying, like you got this big overmatched guy, you know, like there's like 3 of the other team and there's the one of him, and it's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen, you know? So now you just gotta sit back and watch the little Christmas miracle that happens. Okay. So moving along, got the next fan takeover. So this one we're looking at Tito. I keep wanting to say Tito Santana because somebody kept calling him that the other day. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Yeah. Shayna Basler. He just threw him out like with no care whatsoever. Adam Cole. And then Seth freaking Rollins once again. So there's a possibility that this is the last Adam Cole figure, like from him basically with this company. So I don't know. I'd have to check, but I think it might really be. And this Shayna Bazer already have one of her, but this one comes with like a title that's a little bit better than the first one. So we're gonna see what's going on with this. And there you go. See, he was outnumbered or whatever, and then he came back and won the big finale. What does that mean for him? Probably nothing. And I say that only because oftentimes they have these matches and like you would think, okay, cool, he's cemented himself as a guy who's like important. And then he does nothing of importance later. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess now they're gonna celebrate with pizza. So I mean, is that just a thing that never gets old? Like, because I mean, I usually think about that like in school when I was in like, you know, like elementary school, you know, and people are like, oh yeah, like whoever like sells the most things or whatever, you're gonna get a pizza party at school. And it's like, oh wow, yay, pizza. And now he's running off with some after throwing it in the crowd. I tell you what though, you let somebody throw pizza at me or whatever, that's gonna be a problem. Those slices of pizza are flying though. Like that is crazy. And look at him. Dude just ran around wrestling and stuff. Now he's eating. Didn't even wash his hands. That's how people get sick. Nasty. Nasty. Moving along. Get her hand out of there. Shayna Basler. She'll be on here later tonight with the SmackDown team. Let's see, and probably slip this in with her belt or whatever. Yeah, she's got that whole Samoa Joe towel thing going on, right? Like I was saying, she's got this NXT title, which is a little bit better than the other one. That thing isn't going to focus at all whatsoever. And now, what is there, like Bianca Belair special or something? Oh, no, it's just wrestling in general. Let's see, just picked up the 11 my daughter hit on sneakers, the Bordeaux 1s, Freddy Krueger Vans, Pata Aquas, Royalty 12s. Oh yeah, I got those 12s also. They're still in the box. I haven't even like unboxed them, like, you know, to see what they look like or whatever. Because, you know me, I do like 12s. That's one of my things that I'm into. But I'm also very slow to open stuff up lately, because I'm so behind on doing like the actual videos and whatnot. And the ones, the Air Max ones, it seemed like a lot of people got through on like the various Pata colors. I didn't go for any of them though, because I don't know. I don't really like that little squiggly part at the bottom. I do really like Air Max 1s, though. It's one of my favorite Air Max models, top 5 easily. But something about like that just kind of didn't do it for me. And the one color that I liked the most, well, the first color that I saw, I didn't go for those because they were so close, seemingly, to the Curry Pack Air Max 1s. So I was like, I'm good on that. But those blue ones, it was like I don't know, like a tealish blue or whatever. Those are pretty nice. And 313 saying she's got to go. All right, I get it. I appreciate you stopping in and all that good stuff. Always nice to talk to some people in a more real time sort of situation. Hopefully you enjoy your little YouTube life that you're getting back into or whatever. I tell you, man, it is something to do, but it is a time consuming endeavor if you want it to be. So I totally get why people step away for a minute or two. I think about that all the time myself. But enough about me. Appreciate you again, and I will stop to see you. Hopefully, stop in, and I see you another time. I changed the laces to the white ones. Yeah, and that's another thing for me. I am not a man of lace swapping ways. I'm just so lazy, man. Like I got those Midwest, what do you call them? Forum 84 Low Midwest Kids Adidas shoes earlier today. Well, I did the review earlier today. And I don't know, like the black laces might be a better option, but the white ones were already partially in there. So kind of like how Jordan ones, like they have the laces like at the very bottom, but not any higher than that. So I was like, I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to keep these in there. And this, like, there's another Ricky the Dragon Steamboat coming up that I was talking to McFly about, and that one looks like it's going to be awesome. The dragon on the back. So I think the other one is going to have a chase as well, and both of them look good. But which one looks better? I can't say. I feel like I was kind of split on that. Now the Usos are going against somebody. So if it's the Usos, then it should be a pretty good match. Hey, Amy, what's going on, miss? Hopefully you're doing all right this fine evening. I'm just kind of sitting back, watching a little bit of wrestling, unboxing some wrestling figures. Normal stuff that I do from time to time. Oh, I almost dropped that. I don't want that to happen. I'm going to have to take this down. I'm not labeling these all just yet, so I'm just putting stuff in there so I remember whose goes with what. Those ones might be a little difficult, but that's all of the WrestleMania stuff, so it shouldn't be too bad. And yeah. So what are you up to there, Amy? How's life in the big city? Oh, okay. This is Randy Orton and RK Bro. So this must be like one of those champion versus champion matches. Now this one I actually kind of am interested in, right? I didn't know that it was happening until right now, but just given the types of teams that are in here, this one should be interesting for not the normal reasons of just saying like, oh, it's going to be a really good match because it's like FTR versus the Lucha Brothers. No, this one should be interesting just to see like that slight clash of styles, but each team has their own little thing going on. So I don't know. I have some semi-high hopes for it. So we'll see what goes on. It's okay here in Sacramento. I've never been there. I don't even know if that I've been close. I mean, I may have been close, that is, but I don't know geography very well. Sacramento. Where is that in relation to San Jose or San Diego? So those are the places or Eureka. I've also been to Eureka, California. And that place, Eureka, was weird. Very, very strange. We picked up this hitchhiker girl, right? Because, like, we make, I don't want to say we made a bad decision, but I wasn't really involved in it. So some people that I was with kind of made a weird decision because like she's walking by and she's trying to go somewhere and someone's like, "Oh, hey, like yeah, we can give you a ride wherever," and I'm like, "Wait, what's this now?" So they're like, "Yeah, she's just gonna ride with us to wherever." And then I remember like she stole something from a bookstore. There's like some because they had like coats in there or something, and she just kind of like put it on. I was like, "Oh, this looks nice. I'm gonna take this." And I was like, "Okay, all right, fair enough." But yeah, so it was a weird time. And then we saw these other like hippie dudes 2 hours from the bay, like Bay, that type of bay. That had to be perfect timing, so there it is. But yeah, I've had some good times in California as a whole, though. Trying to get this guy out of here. Open up another one of these things. So yeah, man, like Matt Riddle looks very small compared to the Uso boys. He doesn't look all that small like normally though. Normally he seems like he's got a pretty tall dude. Then again, they also have like shoes on. Not sure. Sometimes they're wrestling like the Air Force Ones or something. But that could be a bit of a difference maker too. But 2 hours from the bay. Okay. So yeah. But yeah, San Jose. I just went to like an NXT show out there many moons ago, 2015. It's pretty cool though. Let's see. I really enjoyed your Vapor Max 2021 review. 2021. Oh, the green one, right? Is that the green one? Or the maybe I have two of those. No, the green one. Yeah. Okay. Great stuff. I bought a pair because of your review and love them. All right, cool, man. You know, and I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I always like it's cool to hear that in some ways, but it's also like in some ways it's like put some pressure on you when you're making the videos because it makes you think like people are gonna take whatever you say and you know sometimes they run with it, which is good, you know, and it's also why you got to be honest in the reviews. But it's like I almost feel like I hope I'm not like influencing someone to like spend money on something and then like they get it and like maybe I spoke highly of it, but maybe they won't like it, you know. It's a chance that they take, you know, like they as in like the buyer, but it's just a thing that's in the back of my mind whenever I do reviews, you know. Maybe it's just who I am. But anyway, so yeah, the Vapor Max 2021, right? Like I definitely like those. I probably said that in the review. They they improved on the things I felt they needed to improve on, and that's always a good thing. And lately they put out some pretty decent colors recently, but the weird thing to me is that they didn't really like come out of the gates with all the good colors. Normally, like in the past, that was kind of a big thing, you know, like there's a new summer shoe, you're gonna make like a bunch of fancy colors to go along with it, kind of pull you in. But those not so much. So I do want to get another pair though. I'm not sure which ones, but at some point, I'll have to pick up another pair, see what the sales are looking like and all that good stuff. Because that's partially what drives it. Because you bought a pair, you know what the retail price is, right? It's a fair amount. So hopefully you're able to get yours under retail. And that's just the thing, you know, like I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on them. But, you know, because I have a lot of shoes, so I don't get to wear everything all that much anyway. So that's kind of part of the reason I don't want to spend too much money on any one pair. Though I might have to spend a fair amount on some Jordan 9 boots or something this week because my dad needs some boots, is what he was saying. So I might try to get those for him. Not for me, I'm not a boot guy, but, you know, he is. Seth freaking Rollins, once again. There's another one earlier today. Just opened this one a little while ago. Usually there was a kendo stick with it, but yeah, it's in a bag somewhere. They had a deal. Okay, yeah, 160 isn't bad because I think those are like, well, those are 190 or 200 if I remember correctly, something like that. Because I remember like the 20s were like 220, 225, and that was just insane to me. Like, for what, you know? I mean, I can get it if it was like a special edition or something, but there's nothing special about your average Air Max, like Vapor Max, whatever. There really isn't. Yeah. And to me, like, now there'll be times when I'll buy something that I'm okay with the color, but it's not like my number one choice, right? And so then if I'm not like 100% sold on it, I do want like a lower price. But in times like that, if it's a color that I'm cool with, a slight discount is enough of a discount usually, because sometimes, and it's weird, man, like sometimes stuff will sell out that you don't expect to sell out. And so then you're like, well, man, that kind of is uncool. Let's see, put these Seth Rollins hands in here. These are very nondescript. So I'm probably going to take this shirt thing off. Man, Riddle is taking licking here, as they say. They wanted to. Okay, yeah. So that's definitely a fair price. So did you also get the green ones, or did you get a different color? So I'm trying to think, like the one that I want, it's hard to describe because there's two that kind of fit the description, but it's kind of like it's a stone bluish sort of color, almost like in some ways not far off of the 20s that I bought, but they overall look better in my opinion. But yeah, $200, that's a lot of money, man. Like shoes are not cheap, dude. Like, I mean, obviously, like we all know that, but I'm just saying, like, it just becomes a little much at times. It's a little much. But like I was saying, and was it? I don't know. I say it in reviews sometimes, but I often forget because it's just not always comes to mind. But assuming Nike is still doing it, right? If your shoes go out on you, like Air Max, like if the bubble pops or whatever, within 2 years of the manufacture date, which is what's on the tag inside the shoe, you can usually send it back to them and they'll give you a voucher for whatever the retail price is of those shoes. And then you can buy some new ones. So, just kind of keep that in mind. But like I said, like the times that I've used that in the past, there was a 2-year time frame on it. So make sure you're within that 2 years if you come across that sort of situation. Because it's pretty cool though, like because even if you didn't buy the shoes directly from Nike, I mean I never did up until recently, but I would buy my shoes from like Finish Line or Foot Action or whatever, and I called them up one day and I was like just to see if they could fix them or something. Like, oh well, if you send it to us and if we can tell that like it was like natural damage, nothing like malicious, we'll send you a voucher, and then like the voucher will cover the price of new shoes. So you send the shoes in, a couple of weeks later, you receive a little thing in the mail, and it's like, hey, here's your voucher to Nike.com for the value of $225 or whatever the shoes cost, and then you just buy some new shoes. Obviously, at that point, you're kind of at the mercy of their pricing because it's a Nike.com voucher, but you're basically getting a free pair of shoes, even if like the previous shoes that you bought under retail. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I've cashed in on that on a pair of 2011s. And what else? A pair of 2013s. I feel like there was a third time as well. But that's also the other part of like the incentive to actually wear the shoes. So that way if you're gonna damage them, it's like between that time frame. Because a friend of mine, he was wearing his daily, like, loving every bit of it. But his went out like it was like 2 years and like 2 months or something. So he just barely missed out. Let's see, got the mostly gray ones with the blue swoosh. I feel like I know what you're talking about. Because, yeah, when I bought my green pair, there were a couple of colors that I was like, this one could be cool, but I hadn't picked up a pair of green and gray in a while. So that was kind of why I made that choice. Scarlett, this is a basic figure because at the time, I had this Karrion Kross and I needed a figure to go with it. But then, of course, they just said they're going to do an elite version of her last month. But now that she has been released, I honestly don't know if they're going to do that or not. So hopefully they do because that one did look pretty good. But this one, I think, overall like is probably a pretty good fit as well because it's just like the plain black and white. Let's see. You know, it's a good thing I'm not fully interested in this pay-per-view because I'll be honest, like, I'm missing like all of it. Yeah, so Scarlett, you know, standard stuff, nothing too crazy about it, but it works. And again, I only needed it because I got this Karrion Kross. So this was one that I've never been a huge Karrion Kross guy. I didn't have anything against him. I guess I just hadn't seen what everybody else saw just yet because I was only loosely paying attention. But I had high hopes for it because I mean, he had that match with Keith Lee on one of the NXT shows that was pretty solid. But I figured, I'm sure over time I'll see where he's going, you know. And then he got injured. He was gone for a while. Went to the main roster. That didn't go so hot. Yeah, so now he's not there anymore at all. I've got to run. I watched a lot of the shoes reviews on YouTube. Those are excellent. I hope you keep making videos. Keep up the great work. Appreciate it. And yeah, that's the thing that like someone else said something similar recently, and I was like, because I always think about like, how long am I going to do this? You know, because I'm always going to buy shoes, but does that mean I always want to talk about them? And so it's nice to know that people do care to watch these things, and it almost makes me wonder if I leave, is there going to be some sort of gap in someone's day or whatever? You know, like maybe there are people that look forward to watching these things past like the friends of mine that just watch them out of courtesies. So I do appreciate that. It means more than you might think it means, actually. So thanks. And enjoy your shoes, man. Hopefully they last forever for you. Or at least if they go out, it's within the warranty period. Okay. Now that Karrion Kross has been freed from his plastic prison, so that's cool. You're not missing anything. WWE is lame. Well, that about sums that up. I mean, to be completely honest, like I was saying when I first started this stream, like, if this was 20 years ago, I'd be giving all of my attention to this, right? Because back then, the shows were just solid consistently. It wasn't even necessarily just because I was a bigger fan. It's just like, you can watch something casually and get into it if it's good enough. This, I look at it and it's like, whatever. But it gives me something to do on this Sunday evening while I open up some of these figures. So, I don't know. What's that? Cross? Okay. So yeah, it's a pretty decent job on this one. You know, nothing amazing, but I think it's pretty good, especially with like the way the tattoos are. That's one of the things that I usually find to be the most impressive about a lot of the figures is just because the face sculpts are very much hit and miss. That didn't look good, but the face sculptures are kind of hit and miss. His is looking pretty good actually, but the way they do like the finer details when it comes to like the tattoos and stuff can be pretty awesome. Like the Viking Raiders figures, between like the helmets and all that crap, those things were crazy. So very cool. Yeah, Karrion and Scarlett. So there's that set complete. And if you've seen some of my shoe things, you know I like to complete my sets. Let's go ahead and slip this back in here. Make this a little easier to clean up later. Oh man, I made a pretty good dent in this. I don't know how much time is left on this pay-per-view. I'm guessing it's probably going to 11. So we'll see how much more I'm able to get through, you know? While I flip this thing over. Let's see. Good, he kicked out. So, personal opinion, I'm guessing that the Usos will win, but I want Riddle and Orton to win. because they're just like the team that I'm more into. Nothing against the Usos, right? Like I know that I can count on them for good matches. So I'm gonna be fine either way this plays out. But it's like somebody offers you juice, like it's like apple juice or orange juice. Like to me, it's like I like them both. More of an apple fan, but sometimes orange is cool. So, and what's his name? Angel Garza. I was about to say Andrew Garza. So I was at SmackDown 2 weeks ago, and he was there, right, Mr. Garza. And I bought 2 tickets, right, because I figured I'll find somebody to go with me. People are often open to like free tickets to stuff, so I just buy 2 tickets sometimes. And so a friend of mine, he's like, "Yeah, I'll go with you, sure, whatever." He's not like a big wrestling guy, but he wasn't doing anything. So we're sitting there, we're watching the show, and Garza was on there at some point, and he did something, and then he stands up, and I'm like, "Oh, here it comes!" And then he like rips his pants off, and dude's like, "Wait, what?" Like, yeah, that's the thing that he does, He's got the tearaways. There we go. They gave me what I wanted to see, which was the team of Orton and Riddle winning. So things are good. Things are good. Oh, I almost forgot to take these hands out of here, but I would have thrown those away. That's not cool. Can't do that. And I know there's a lot of noise out of these boxes. My bad for doing that, but hopefully it's not like picked up too much or whatever. Let's see. Yes, Vince and writers have whatever the show. Yeah. That's I don't know. At this point, it doesn't really. Okay. At this point, it honestly doesn't matter, and I kind of get it because this thing is like I don't want to say it's too big to fail because that's not necessarily like a real thing, but it's so big that they're going to keep making money. Like people are going to. They came to town recently. Like I bought tickets, like not because it was going to be amazing, but because it's a thing that I do. These people in the crowds, they bought tickets because it's a thing that they do. So they're going to keep making money, and people are going to keep complaining about it, but they're going to keep making money. So it honestly just doesn't matter how bad of decisions they make, and that is unfortunate, right? Because it means that I'm going to end up with a bunch of bad shows. Hey, it's that Miz figure. I just opened that up a little while ago. I don't know where I put it. Oh, right here on the desk. Yeah, same guy in the commercial. So that's cool. But yeah, it's unfortunate. You don't want to see something that you are into like be tarnished. It's like when some people they see like their favorite sports teams like over the years they just kind of have some bad management that kind of creates a bad team. And that's kind of how I feel about this, I want it to be what I grew up watching, but they want it to be whatever this crap is that you want to call it now. Sad times. But it's a thing. It's in its own way. I guess that kind of brings people together. They can sit back and talk about how they aren't. What is that? Okay, how they aren't super into wrestling anymore, and that creates the conversation. But asking you though, what memories like from the past, anyways? Like, what are some of the better things that you do recall? I mean, I will say like Survivor Series, like I kind of alluded to earlier. Oh, that's a cool feeling jacket. Sometimes I really like the way they do the clothes on these guys. So when I was younger, like getting into wrestling and stuff, Survivor Series was one of my. Actually, I think that was my favorite thing. And I was able to go and see one live back in 2015, so that was cool. Kind of check something off like the list of things you want to accomplish in life. Because they had those 5-on-5 matches and stuff, and those to me were just like, I don't know what it was, but I just thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. So that was 9 years ago. Feels like it was longer. this WrestleMania 28. When did I go to? 26? No. Yeah. Okay. Man, he's got all kinds of stuff going on here. So yeah, I really liked the way Survivor Series was originally. Ooh, just cut myself. That's why you shouldn't like go flailing around with knives when you're not looking at where you're moving your hands. It's like that Hirachi video, like what was it, like the 80, what was that thing called? I forget. Some Hirachi DNA video where I cut my finger kind of bad during the review. And I probably should have stopped, but I just didn't. And now the egg is missing. Let's see. Move this back in here so I can get this stretched out just a little bit longer. So now somebody has stolen Mr. McMahon's prize egg. Maybe it's the gobbledygooker. He's an egg kind of guy, you know? Or egg thing of some sort. Okay. So, John Morrison. Johnny Mundo, whatever you want to call him. I had the Miz figure, so I had to get the Morrison figure, you know? Luckily, they came out with this one because the Morrison figure from like the Survivor Series pack, I wasn't really a huge fan of it because it just wouldn't have gone with like the Miz figure. But later on, I'll probably wish that I had picked it up. But man, they went all in on the muscles on this dude. Are you seeing that? Like all kinds of vascularity or whatever going on. It's a little excessive. But it's also weird seeing Vince McMahon regularly on a pay-per-view. I don't know what the deal is with that. So I guess that means that something amazing is going to happen, or at least something important. But anyway, so like I was saying, Miz and Morrison, hey, ho, ho, now I have this, so cool. Very cool, actually. And that's the reason I don't really like play with these things or whatever. I just kind of stand them up in whatever stance makes sense, put them on a shelf, which I had to put together tomorrow. But man, like this is a lot to get through. But every other time that I've done this, like sit down here and watch the pay-per-views, I just talk to people, right? So I mean, at times like that, I can, you know, I'll do the screen share and maybe I'll like look up some shoes or look up some video games or whatever. You guys into video games at all? I bought a PS5 the other day. I still haven't made any use of it. It's been sitting on the floor for like a month now. So it's still in the box and everything. I bought Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, and I also picked up, it hasn't arrived yet, but I also bought the Spider-Man, the Miles Morales one. So I've heard good things about it. So those were the two games that I had an interest in. Now that I have those, I don't think that there's anything else that I really want, honestly. I did hear that there's an upgrade for like Tony Hawk 5 or Tony Hawk 1+2 to make it look better on PS5. So I'm looking forward to that. So got a Bailey figure here. I was a little on the fence about this for some reason, but then I saw it in stores and I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get this thing. It's got her little flailing tube man thing going on. So that's cool. I'm not sure what this here stick thing is all about, because I don't remember. But it doesn't much matter either way. But yeah, I want to say that this was a Ringside Collectibles purchase at some point. Because I saw it it was. Because I saw it in my order history the other day. Because yesterday I was making a bunch of wrestling figure orders. I think I spent like, it was probably like $260 on wrestling figures yesterday or something. So some of it was pre-orders. Some of it was, I think the other stuff is in stock, so it should ship soon. We'll see. But, you know, it's just stuff that I kind of had my eyes on. They Thanksgiving sale. Probably should have waited for like the actual Black Friday sale, because that'll probably be better. But, you know, it's not a big deal. It was a good enough sale that I didn't mind jumping on it in the moment. And this is Bianca Belair, so that means that we're on to the women's Survivor Series match. I have a Macho Man figure somewhere around here nowadays. And so that meant that it was time to actually finally buy a Miss Elizabeth figure. So, you know, I actually have a couple Macho Man figures now that I think about it. And they've got one coming up, a newer Elite that's more, you know, more aggressive, like, you know, from that other era of his. So that's pretty cool. But let's see. So there's Bianca Belair. It really is just crazy to me. Like, just recently, she was, I don't know what you want to call it, but she was kind of on top of the world, you know? And then all of a sudden she wasn't anymore. So I think sometimes like, you know, if you establish somebody as being pretty solid and then you take the belt off of them, you can kind of like make it a little more believable when they go for it later. So we'll see. And now Carmella's coming out, right? I just picked up a Carmella figure. I don't know where that is. It's probably deep down in this stack somewhere. But man, where is it? Oh yeah, way down here. So just opened up one of hers. So I have a Bianca Belair figure too, but that is on the shelf over there. Because that one was, that's a review that I did, like a solid review, you know, where I did like the unboxing and all that crap. Did the full breakdown. I haven't done one of those with action figures in forever. And I want to, it's just, they're so time consuming that I just kind of don't do them. They don't get a lot of views, which doesn't really make me inclined to do it, but there are shoe reviews that I do that get like tens of views also. You know what I'm saying? They don't even get into the triple digits. So it doesn't make you want to do stuff sometimes. But the reason I don't really care as much about it is because usually if you put something out there, somebody is going to find it and someone is going to find it useful in some kind of way, whether it turns them into the shoe, away from the shoe. Maybe there's some sort of like piece of advice you bring along the way and, oh, that was helpful. So usually somewhere in there is something of value. So that's why I don't get too hung up. No. So Miss Elizabeth. So that's why I don't get too hung up on the view count, right? But I gotta say though, still, like when you do stuff, like you do kind of want your work to have a little bit more to show for it sometimes, especially when it's like something that takes a good deal of effort. And if you've never made like an actual video or whatever, a lot of crap goes into making these things. I just shared one in my little community section the other day about like one of the videos I've made last year. Was last year? I think, I don't know. Basically, it was like almost like a vlog in some ways of me making a normal YouTube review of shoes, right? Since that's the bulk of what I do. And it's like 20 minutes long, but it goes over everything, you know, start to finish, gives you like a solid idea of like how long it takes and what I do from like setting up the cameras to when I click publish. A lot of time passes between those two things. If I don't have anything else going on and I want to just do one review, like it all in one shot, which I do sometimes, from the time I like set up the lighting to the time I click like release or publish or whatever, it's usually like a good like 6 hours or something like that. It can take a minute, you know what I'm saying? And that's like including everything, because you have to record the review portion, the on feet portions, get all the pictures together, edit the thing, encode it, upload it, make a thumbnail, get all your tags in there. There's a lot of stuff that goes into making like a proper review. And I'm not saying that like, I don't care if you like, I don't want you to like pity or whatever. I'm just saying that, you know, to anybody who's like curious, like if you're thinking about doing this or whatever, definitely think twice, because I mean, it depends on how much you want to put into it, sure. You can make videos without as much detail and crap as I go into, but then you run the risk of them not being, I don't know, a lucrative use of your time. So that's something to consider. But either way, I spend a lot of time doing this stuff. It's not for everybody. So when I do put the stuff out there, I don't always expect a whole lot. I just expect it to at least get through to somebody. And that usually happens. Sometimes several somebodies, sometimes only one. Here we have this Andrade El Idolo, something like that. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Probably not, because I didn't really grow up in a Spanish-speaking area of Iowa. So my Spanish speaking is like not good, no bueno, as they say. So I don't know what all this crap is that it comes with. Looks like the masks and all that stuff. So I don't know why this is on this little. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was looking like down there. I was like, why does it look like that? But it's so you can take the other head off and just wear like have them wear the masked head if you want to. See, the SmackDown team is all together. Like they're all going to make this one big entrance, which makes sense because it shows that you're a team, but also makes sense on the side of like realism. And it's like realistically, if there's going to be some big gang warfare, if one gang is already out there, it would be stupid for one person of the other gang members to walk out one at a time, right? So there is that. All right. Okay. But yeah, so nowadays Andrade is over on the AEW show. I didn't get to see him, I don't think, when I went last week, but no big deal, You can't see I was hoping I'd see more people, but I get that it was the fallout of a pay-per-view, so sometimes they only show some people because there's other people that are like, oh no, so-and-so's now out with an injury and they got to sell that. So I get it. But, for $90, I mean, it was still like, I saw 2 shows, Dark, Rampage, and Dynamite. Had amazing seats, Got to see some pretty cool moments overall. So I can't complain. Like, not at all. I get to do a lot of cool stuff from time to time, So for me to complain would be a little senseless, and selfish. All right. Let's do that one later. So, do what you love, others will follow. Okay. I was trying to think of like why you were saying that and like what the relevance was, because I was honestly not sure. Mysterio. Not a huge fan, like to the point to where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a huge Mysterio guy. Late 90s, of course. But modern times, like, whatever. I mean, I got nothing against the dude, I respect everything he's done, so there is that. He can't really deliver on the same type of match that he used to do, so that kind of sucks a little bit. But, it is what it is. I bought this figure, though, because it's like the right colors. So, as I said earlier, big black and yellow guy. He's a black and yellow suit this time around. So that's why we are where we are. Now, cutting this guy out of here. That's the thing that kind of sucks. So, almost cut my whole finger off just now, which would have been not cool, I mean, I've got some like health insurance or whatever you call it, like medical benefits or something, that I pay for every month. So I could have like had that dealt with. But yeah, it still would have not been great, gotta say. Okay. This is of the Top Picks series. Right? Yeah, Top Picks, which I don't really know what that means. And this just got some random stats on the back. So, now we got Shotzi and we have Bianca Belair. Now, I gotta say, right, this whole Shotzi Blackheart thing, there's a lot of people out there that are big fans, and I want to talk to those people, because I don't quite see it. Like, I don't know what the deal is, right? I'm not saying she's terrible, but like the matches I've seen, they've all been like okay to mediocre, which is largely the same thing. So that's kind of why I say it like that, to drive home my point. And I'm just like, what's going on here? She's got just like the, I don't know, the tank thing going on sometimes. So there's that. And she like howls a lot and yells a lot. And she's got the green hair. It's got the Beetlejuice look going on. But it's just like, as far as, and then there you go. That's Mr. Rey Mysterio. I don't know where like the focus part of this thing is, but it's like it just doesn't want to do that. So I don't know. But when you're dealing with like a webcam, what do you expect? And then this John Cena figure. I bought this for a reason. I think I was gonna make a thumbnail with it or something. So there's that. But I've been picking up a lot of John Cena figures over the last several months. When I say a lot, I mean I have like four or five. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 that I know of, but I feel like there might be a 5th one somewhere around here, because there's 2 that are open already, and then you have this one, and I have an Ultimate Edition. So maybe it's just 4, but they all happened in like such a short time frame. And who's that? Is that Liv Morgan? I think so. Yeah. I used to be a big Liv Morgan fan, and I wanted to get her a Riot figure, Riot Squad figure, because it was one of the basics. And I missed my chance, and now that chance is probably no more. So I might have to go hit some Walmarts tomorrow and just kind of see if it's still sitting around. But honestly, I doubt it. They make these things, I don't know why they use all this extra plastic in here. All right, so there's that. Probably not going to put those on for now. Let's see, Rhea Ripley's in here, going on against, looks like Natalya. Natalya's another one of those. And I get you can't have everybody in like the main event all the time, whatever. Sometimes I just start to wonder why some people are so far from it, because I don't expect them to be closing all the shows, but you would at least want to like leave some sort of resemblance of the fact that they mattered. So this is a weird haircut to me. I don't really remember that specifically, but whatever. Apparently that was a thing at some point. Does it say? Nah, it doesn't really say anything on. Yeah, it doesn't really say anything on the back as far as like what they did to kind of like emulate or whatever. And I'm gonna have a lot of these things to label later, so probably gonna stick with the hat on this guy. I don't know how. Either way, John Cena, ladies and gentlemen, cover up that weird haircut. And where's the plastic thing? So go ahead and put this away. Now we got Shayna Basler. I like Shayna Bazer. She's a pretty good person, good wrestler lady. So I gotta say, I do wonder how much longer she's gonna be around. I only say that because like they've been firing people left and right, and she's one of the ones that like, even though I think she's definitely like a valuable asset or whatever, they haven't been using her a whole lot. So it makes me think that she might be gone like like the round of people that they released like after WrestleMania. Did I already open one of these? I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of them. Okay, no. Because I was looking at like this Seth Rollins and this one. Yeah. You might look at those at first and like, isn't that the same one? Barely different. The difference being like in the belt buckle. So that's what that is. But, you know, as a Seth Rollins guy, I wouldn't have put it past me to accidentally buy the same figure twice. I really wouldn't. And now she's trying to make Rhea Ripley tap out. Like, I don't know, that match has never really happened. You would never, watching this, it's like two former NXT champions. There was a time when, like, again, not to keep saying the same thing, but like, where if you had seen this, you would have expected like 20-minute instant classic, right? But now that it's like in Survivor Series mode, people lose a lot faster because it's like part of the whole team thing, you know? If you listen to like the Chick Foley show, they were talking about it the other day. So yeah, when you're in a Survivor Series setup, you have like 75% of your normal XP or something. So you lose a little easier. Unfortunate, but true. Because you'll see people lose to like all kinds of stuff. Like a straight up sleeper hold, you know? Put somebody down. But in some ways, it kind of adds to the, you know, the anything can happen sort of thing. It's got some weird booking going on in some ways too, if you want to look at it like that. And I need to find some more of these bags. I think Amazon stopped making them, the ones with like the labels on them. So we'll see. I'd have to buy a different brand. And Bianca Belair is like a physical specimen of strength. I don't know if there's a better way to say that, but that's what came out. So, speaking of, like, so was the Warlord. This is a big old dude right here. This wasn't the easiest figure to find in all places because when they do those collector's edition ones, like, they don't seem to make as many of them. And the fact that they're just not everywhere doesn't help either. Because, well, actually, I think these ones were at Walmart too, but sometimes like you only see them at Target. Maybe some of them you only see at Walmart. I don't know what the deal is. She better not tap out. Like, if she can do that thing where they roll over and then like she reverses it from there, and yep. Man, this is an awesome figure though. This Warlord. Kind of sucks that the camera isn't great, but like if you can catch that like in person or whatever. Let's see what we got going on here. Where's the... There we go. Get this thing cut out of here. Oh, okay. This is wrapped around there all weird like. Yeah, like I was saying, this Warlord figure looks to be very well done. Got some good detail on it, you know, all around. So this is one where I kind of wish I was doing an actual review so you could really see what it's all about up close, but it is what it is, you know. So for these Warlord hands, these ones, I'm just going to sit back in this back corner. And I'll put the Warlord box over there so that way I know what those go to. I'm trying to keep like all these non-descriptive hands somewhat close to where they are. Almost almost lost this Sid figure here. And now she's pulling the hair and all that stuff. Where's everybody else? Is it? People must have got knocked down on. Yeah, I can see him now on the side. They do that from time to time. Like somebody that's not in the tag match in the moment will get like knocked down, and those like fall down on the side of the ring, and you'll see them peeking over so they know when to run in for their little return spot or whatever. So then it's like 1, 2, oh, out of nowhere, it's Natalya. You know, it's super predictable in a lot of ways, but yeah, whatever. And someone that's in this match right now, Zelena Vega, this figure almost didn't happen because I think it was like announced, and then right after it was supposed to, or right before it was supposed to come out or something, she was fired. So then they weren't sure. People that buy figures were like, oh my God, is it going to happen or is it not going to happen? But it did end up coming out, you know. And then it seemed like they may have held off some of them, you know, because it wasn't an easier thing to find until like later. What? Well, just got eliminated. Selena did. It was to Tony Storm though, so it's like, you know, the best of a bad situation, I guess. So I can't really complain about that. So cut this thing out of here. And she comes with like the fancy robe and all that stuff. So there's her small kind of figure because, you know, proportions. And she comes with this thing, which I will it's unlikely that I'll put this on there. I don't know. Sometimes getting these things on can be more trouble than they're worth. Or off, you know, like the people that come with these things on, it's not always easy. Let's see here. And then with like the hair, got to get the hair like out above the clothing. Looks to be here. Man, this is, yeah, like I said, not completely worth the effort that I'm putting into this because I might not even like how it looks, but if anything, it'll be like lacing shoes where once I get it on there, it's like, well, I put all this effort in. This is gonna happen now. This is what it's gonna be for all time. Kind of like they say it in, what was that show? The Loki show? If anybody watched that, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, trying to get this up over the shoulder. Jesus Christ, that was an ordeal. Because you got to get all this crap like above the head and over the shoulders, but then you got to get the hair like over that. Yeah, so that's what it looks like in the thing. So there's that. And now that it took me all the effort to make that happen, it will be staying there. I don't wonder why the hair is like that though. Seems weird. It's got like, there's like hair over it, but then there's hair under it. Can I move that back? Nope. That's not even supposed to go that way. So whatever. It'll be what it is. The other stuff is just going to go into this bag though. So where's that last? What was the last one? Because sometimes I can get by with putting in multiple things in like the same bag or whatever, because it's so far from the other thing that it makes sense. What's the next one? So I could probably put the Warlord stuff. I might be able to put all the collectors figures together because you can definitely tell Zelena's hands from Warlord's hands. Oh, look at that. Shayna Basler just put away the, what's her name, girl? Do you realize what I'm talking about? Rhea Ripley. So that's impressive. And then you got Kama, right? Kama Mustafa. So he later on went to become the Godfather. And sometime before this, he was it before this? Yeah, before this, he was Papa Shango. So this was a figure that was also hard to find, right? Because again, some of these collector's editions ones, man. This one was, I missed my chance to get this through this guy over in England, because they had them readily available. But I ended up just going to the local Yester Toys over in Virginia Beach, picking it up there. I don't mind supporting the local scene, and it saves on gas of going and looking for them because I've still never seen this figure in stores. So that kind of helped. See, now this made more sense. They had this loop that kind of was behind there, connecting both hands. So if you cut one free, then they're both free. I wish they would do that more often. So set those over there. And now Shotzi and Sasha Banks are getting into it. Sasha Banks loses a lot, but I don't think she'd lose to Shotzi Blackheart. I just can't see that happening. And now Natalya coming to the rescue. What? So I wasn't following what just happened, but I see that Sasha Banks' team didn't let her get back into the ring. So now this is kind of like that situation I was talking about earlier where it's the 3-on-1 and somebody's going to pull off something and probably... So Bianca Belair is probably going to eliminate at least one or two of these people, and then somebody is going to kind of help cheat to secure the victory for that team. One way or another, she's probably just not going to win. But they've got Natalya in there, and they've got Shotzi in there. So two people that are no strangers to taking losses. And then I'm guessing Shayna will be the one that actually secures the victory for the team. So the Kama that I was talking about right there, pretty cool figure. They're kind of focused for a split second, and then it went back to being trash. And Colonel Mustafa. See? Natalya just got eliminated. What'd I tell you? So this was one of those collector's edition ones. I actually found two of these because I know that this one is somewhat sought after. And even though I don't want the other one, I only kind of wanted this one. I figure this way I can just sell the other one or whatever. Actually, I probably should have opened the other one because I think the other one was in a worse box or whatever. But either way, I could probably trade that one for something that I want. Okay, well, actually, so she eliminated two. So now it's Shotzi is the one that's still in there. That's surprising. So now it's 1-on-1. Now, in this case, if it hadn't been Shotzi as the last person in there, I could see it potentially being going a certain way. But there's no way Shotzi is just going to straight up beat Bianca Belair. It just can't happen. You know, she's just so much better than her. And I know I'm talking about this like it's real or something, and I get that, right? But the thing is, that's the fact of the story. But I'm sure, see, and that's what I'm talking about. That thing that Shotzi just did, I mean, maybe it's different when you're actually doing it, but sometimes it just looks so like herky-jerky and like discombobulated, you know? It's just fumbling about. And it just makes it look bad. And that's often what I see when I see her matches. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like a tough critic. McFly said that once when I said something about a pair of shoes that he had that I didn't completely approve of. But, oh, okay. Look at that. Like, she actually did it. She pulled it off. She did the whole Soul Survivor thing. So maybe this was that moment where they're trying to like build her back up into being in the title picture and say that, hey, Bianca Belair matters, which is kind of a good thing because what is it? It's November, so maybe just in time for WrestleMania, she'll be at the point to where she's like a person worth going for a title again, and maybe she'll be looking to go ahead and complete the, you know, her road to WrestleMania, pull things back again. Where'd that go? We'll see, but I'm cool with that. I'm cool with what just happened. I'll set this hat over here because for some reason it's falling off of his head. But yeah, so there you go, Colonel Mustafa. So I guess he had something to do with Sergeant Slaughter a while ago. So maybe I do need to get that Sergeant Slaughter figure. That's how they get you with these figures, man. Like you buy something and then they're like, oh hey, like here's this, and you're like, oh well, maybe I should get that because I have this already. So, because there's an Elite, I think it's part of the WrestleMania set, maybe. I don't know. There's an Elite Sergeant Slaughter coming up where he's got like the same sort of clothing on because I guess there was a time where like they were working together. So maybe I should go ahead and get that. It might actually make a little bit of sense because you know it's cool to have little sets when you're standing these things up. You know, you can have these two guys and they can go face off with like some of the Hart Foundation guys, and oh look, it's like anti-America things happening or something. This right here, this Mae Young figure, I saw this in Walmart for months, and I felt like maybe if I just buy this, it'll be off the shelves, and then they'll make the effort to put some new stuff on the shelves. So that was my plan. So I bought this figure that I don't completely want, but I will say there's some other stuff at that Walmart nowadays. So maybe, just maybe, part of that's on me, you know. The savior of Newport News. So cut that. And is this just on here? What's going on with that? I don't know if these are tied down in any kind of way or not. Kind of hard to say. Okay, no, it's not. Good. Well, now there's Paul Heyman. I gotta say, like, I'm glad to see Paul Heyman still involved. And I have to tell you, if he wasn't, there are a lot of things that would not be as good as they are right now. So somebody owes him a huge debt of gratitude. And I just dropped something? Oh no. So there you go, Mae Young with her hat, crown, whatever, and her little frilly shirt. And she comes with this trophy thing, similar to like the trophy that the Undertaker won at something in Saudi Arabia. So there's that. Okay, so we can put all this crap off to the side. Luckily, so far, a lot of this stuff looks to be very much unique enough within the collector's line that I don't have to group it all together. So that's good. Very good, actually. So I think we're about to come to the main event. I'm trying to see what it's going to be because, oh, here's the movie they're talking about. Something with the Deadpool guy. What's his name? Ryan Reynolds. So I think McFly was saying that this is a funny movie or something, but I wouldn't watch it personally because, like, I'm not a rock guy. So his movies, I think I was forced to watch one of them once. It was like early 2000s, and who's that guy like from that 70s show? The Ashton Kutcher. I think he was in it. It had something to do with like they were in a jungle or something. I don't know. I watched it, because like I was at somebody's house and that's what they were watching, and that's where I was staying at the time, so I just kind of had to deal with that. Let's see here. So it's like the exact same mold. Wow, this is almost this is almost the exact same mold. The hair is just actually no, it's just because this one might just be a little folded under. Yep, that's all it was. So these two figures are the exact same mold, like everything about them. So you look at like the haircut, the way the hair is done, and all that good stuff on both sides, the way they did like the chest and all that, even down to for the most part the coloring on the trunks. Just that they colored in this one on the belt and then added a little bit more over here, but otherwise they're both very much the same. So yeah, it's like just one of those cheap things where it's just like slightly different. Like if you play Street Fighter or something and you get like another costume for one of your characters and it's slightly different, but it's still basically the same. Yep, that's what went down here. But that's on me, you know. I could have done some more research and not bought these or something, but I did. So here we are, looking at two of the same Seth Rollinses. But whatever. I like the guy enough that I'm not going to hold it against him or them or whatever for being cheap. I'm just going to accept that. But I want to see where this pay per view is because depending on that, I might go ahead and get things wrapped up here. I don't want to be in the middle of opening boxes when I do it. Let's see, move this over here. But I have been able to get through a lot of these, which is good because that's what I wanted to do. Wanted to be able to get some new stuff on the shelves. Well, I'm just gonna leave that. One of the bags is under this pile of boxes, and if I move that box, then this whole thing is just gonna come tumbling on down. And I do not want that. Not at all. So let me see. We'll stop over here along with Adam Cole, The Fiend. I think this was the first one that I opened up right here tonight. So, and those Paul Ellering pieces. Got this Randy Orton. Because I could go ahead and put this Paul Ellering together. Because one of the things I got was to kind of piece this thing together, right? So, might as well go ahead and do that. Oh, so that just kind of snaps in place. That's kind of cool. And I can sit this on here. Makes it easy to put these arms on. So those just kind of snap in place. I'm wondering given the way this looks, see, it's kind of got like that sort of ridge there. So it's probably going to just snap in place and be there forever. Oh, okay. It's Big E versus Roman Reigns. Should have known that was going to be the main event. And now there's the question, like, so now it's going to be just down to this right here. Which head am I going to go with? Given that I'm a little more accustomed to seeing him bald, we're going with the bald one. Wow. Oh, this neck is actually a little bit broke. So that's not cool. But whatever, it's good enough to fit on here, so that's fine. And then he's got this puppet thing for some odd reason. I don't know what the deal is with that. But Paul Ellering, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So now we're down to the main event. Just about, anyway. Let's see if I can get this thing to stand up properly. Oh, that's what it was. The feet weren't quite straight under there. I can set that over there. What is this belt? This was Randy Orton's belt. He came with that Intercontinental title for some odd reason. Maybe it might have made sense, but I don't remember what it said on the box. So now that we're down to like the actual main event, this one I will probably actually watch because I'm largely down to like the end of this and all that good stuff. So I'll set that over there. And I think from here, I'll just watch this last little bit of this here show just to see how this ends. I have my doubts on truly enjoying it. And it's a long delay there. This doesn't even look right. So, well, that's weird. They give you this belt that doesn't even fit around dude's waist. I mean, he is like a larger figure or whatever. So I guess I can see that piece of it, but come on, man, that's a bad move, you know? Probably fits around like the average guys or something, but so just have to sit it on there like that, I suppose. So let me see all these things here, these bags now. These are all like the bags of like the different pieces that I've been opening up, so I can get those labeled later. That'll be a project for probably maybe Wednesday if I'm watching Dynamite on time and stuff. If I'm actually watching it live, maybe I'll do that then. Let me see something here. But so to finish off these things, clean that up later. I will say, I guess to finish things off, I'm going to go ahead and open these Undertaker figures. Actually, maybe I'll do those later. Yeah, maybe I'll do that in conjunction with another review. That sounds cool. give me a reason to do one like on my next batch or something. Because I like to keep some stuff in the tank. But next time around, I'll be opening up this right here. This is an Undertaker figure from the 30-year anniversary. This came out earlier this year, right? So I picked this guy up at some point. Also, this one, this is also an Undertaker figure. I want to say this was his debut one, because I think that's because he had the mask and all that stuff. If not, it's from later on when he had like a broken face or something. So, typical Undertaker stuff. This is also an Undertaker figure in his like older era, right? So, I mean, he's always kind of had like the one look, you know what I'm saying? It's the thing that works for him, but he hadn't quite, perfected it until years later. And then he brought a whole bunch of stuff all together to make this look, which is the graveyard, boneyard match, whatever he did. So this version of the Undertaker was the last one that most people saw in action. Actually, last one that was in action. So I guess if you watched it, then this is the last one you saw. But it's the last one anyone was able to see for sure. But so now that, man, that thing feels like it's just about to crumble down all around me. Let's see. So, but now I think I'm just gonna like watch this last match, see how things go, all that good stuff. Because hopefully it doesn't last forever. I mean, it's like 11 o'clock, and I gotta wake up fairly early so I can like go to work and all that good stuff in the morning, which I'm not really looking forward to because I kind of took a couple days off. I think I left early on Wednesday, and then I took off Thursday and Friday. So now I got to go back to doing work stuff. And it kind of sucks because it's like nobody really wants to go to work. You know what I'm saying? You go because that's like how you get paid or whatever. But I would much rather just like not go. And maybe it'd be a little easier if the hours were different. But I go in early because I also get off like really early. So it's a bit of a trade-off, The sooner you leave home, the sooner you get home. It's like that sort of thing. And now looking at this Big E going against Roman Reigns, and I think it's just kind of like everybody knows how this is going to play out as far as on paper. The question is, how is it going to happen, right? Because surely you're not just going to have Big E come out here and just look like some kind of loser, right? You got to leave him looking like he's like still a champ, because he is. And I'm wondering how long are they going to ride this Roman thing out, because everything without some sort of reinvention gets old. Like The Undertaker was The Undertaker for 30 years, right? But there were some slight adjustments along the way. The good guy things, the bad guy things, the different, like the Ministry of Darkness, you had that going on. There was like the later phase where he was like the unholy triad or whatever he called it. So he kind of switched it up a little bit, right? But then you look at other people, even Triple H, like he was still the same dude, I guess, but he kind of changed. The same with Shawn Michaels, right? Nobody can stay the same the whole time. I mean, John Cena's, I guess, been doing it, but he also has taken like some extended breaks here and there. So I don't know, man. I feel like even though a lot of people are into this right now, won't they just kind of get tired of it, right? Like you didn't want to see something else. But at the same time, I also just don't care for it at all. I'll recognize that it is good, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the best version of him that he's been. But I'm good. Like I'd rather have something else on my TV most of the time. So let's see, it's 11:06. I wonder how long this thing's gonna last. Because it's been a long one, It's been a long night as far as like this pay-per-view goes. And I wasn't even able to start this stream on time because YouTube or StreamYard, something was not cooperating with me. But let's see, because I think the StreamYard guys like emailed me back or something saying something here. So I'll just respond to that because I tried a couple times to make this thing work out. And it was just being ridiculous, man. Like if you were here earlier on, you saw that. It was like super pixelated. Now it's like working perfectly fine or whatever. So cool. But earlier tonight, like, and it looks like it was actually a YouTube problem because even when I streamed straight through YouTube, which is not ideal because, you know, you can't like invite people in and all that stuff. Even when I streamed through YouTube, it was still causing a problem. Switching to different networks and stuff, wired or wireless, nothing changed it. It's just looked bad all the time. But okay, so now the match is actually underway. It took like 20 minutes to get here, but here we are. So I wouldn't imagine this is going to go past 11:30. That gives them like 23 minutes, right? Yeah. So, you know, it gives them some time to have the match and then like the post-match things. Because something will probably happen to set up, you know, the next pay-per-view. I wouldn't imagine they would just go off the air, like just say, oh, so-and-so won. Have a good night. I don't think it'll happen like that, you know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see. It's still very slow. Like no action has really happened because they're kind of building up, you know, getting the suspense going and all that. And now they're locking up. You know, the two big bulls going at it or whatever they're probably saying on commentary. Lots of cliches on the commentary. And now there's the big punches back and forth. And Big E has some crazy yellow boots, like, you know, like Curious George and like the man in the big yellow hat. Like that's what's going on, but with his boots. And then on the upper end, I don't know what's going on with this very colorful top, like this yellow and blue and red. So I can't make out what it says, but oftentimes, like a lot of the people will wear something that kind of makes sense for the match or their persona that they're going with, you know, for the time being. Let's see, giddy up. I don't know what. No, I'm sure I'll see something later and it'll make it click. But for now, I don't know what that is. But realistically, you should expect Big E to win. Like if this was like an actual battle or something, maybe. I mean, Roman's probably like faster or something and a little more agile, but I feel like Big E could like take a punch a lot better than he could, and I feel like he can give a punch a lot better than he could. So in that way, that's just what makes sense to me. Steve Redman, is a Survivor Series pay-per-view worth watching on a replay? I heard the best match was Charlotte versus Becky. That was also the first match. So it sucks because it's like you set the bar somewhere, but then you don't live up to that bar for the rest of the night. So long story short, I'm going to say no. Like there will probably be like various like highlights showing you like some of the big things that happened or whatever. But I think, did he just injure himself or is this part of like their story thing that they're doing? Yeah. But either way, I would say no. I knew going into it that it probably wasn't going to be anything really worth watching or whatever. And now that I'm actually watching it, it's very much not worth the time invested, which is why I spent most of it opening up a bunch of action figures. Because that's just the thing that made sense to do since, you know, like you have 3 hours, you may as well do something with it. And I got this shelf that I want to put all this crap on. So this seemed like a good time to use since I was just going to be sitting here anyway. I still got to get through those AEW figures though, so maybe I'll do that later this week. Because like they're not going to have another pay-per-view for a while, so I don't know. And then I do still have a few other wrestling figures, like WWE Legends figures. I mean, I got this here, like this ECW Cactus Jack. There's a Vader down there. There's a Bam Bam Bigelow. The cream of the crop Macho Man. This had to pick this up from like the Yester Toys guys. Like it's a local toy store and all that. So that was pretty cool. Got a pretty decent deal on it. I mean, $30, but when you consider like the number of trips to Target that I would have had to make to like get this for myself, then it's kind of excessive, right? And not too long ago, got the Roddy Piper also from a similar set, So I think I have this whole set complete now. Billy Gunn is on the way, and no, I got the Billy Gunn the other day. Junkyard Dog is on the way, and I have the Kevin Nash somewhere down here. So it's kind of to go with like the Scott Hall, right? Going with the Scott Hall. There's the Vader, but I showed it. Keep that up there. Jeez, boxes are falling all over the place. So yeah, because you can't. It's one of those things where you can't buy one without the other. So Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, try to get the glare out of the way. Right, got to have the outsiders. So now I do. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that I was kind of picking up over the last while, just trying to complete some sets to some extent, but also just to feed into my childhood nostalgia, really. I think that was the bigger thing, because when it comes to like buying the figures, there's a certain amount of, where is that comma? I just had them. I think it's under, I totally just had that figure out. That's not him. I don't know where he went. Did I lose it? Like, I just had that comma somewhere around here. There he is. Yeah, the comma. Yeah, this one is very well done. So this was one that I had to, like the local toy store, like they do their own runs and like they try to find stuff and then they you could say they resell it, but it's like when they're asking like $30 for a figure that costs like $21 in stores, it's like, okay, you add in some taxes, whatever. You add in like how much gas money of like driving around to different Targets to find something. It becomes a matter of like, okay, $30 is like nothing. Like when you compare the free time. Where I get into problems with reselling is usually just with like the shoes and stuff, honestly, because that's when people just start price gouging, if you want to call it that. But yeah, so like I said, I got the Roddy Piper too. It's my first Roddy Piper figure. And I think I showed it, maybe I didn't. The Bam Bam also of the Legends line. It's got the ECW title. So I'll probably set this up with that Cactus Jack figure later because, they're both ECW figures essentially. And then the Warlord was one of my favorites out of this lineup tonight. So yeah, I've gone through a bunch of stuff, but I'll probably, I don't know, I might just have to post pictures on Instagram later once I get like the shelves all set up just to show what all I do have because I like to show these things in videos too, but it's kind of time consuming to do that because the videos are basically a lot of pictures. If I'm going to take pictures, I may as well just put them on somewhere where you can just look at the pictures. So that's kind of how I feel sometimes. There's like a sort of a split decision on like the reasoning to make figure videos. But I will say a couple of the videos that I've done, I think it was like the Street Profits video. That one did pretty all right for itself. And my Chris Jericho little bit of the bubbly video still gets watched from time to time too. So some of them do all right, I think the biggest thing is really just that so much effort. It feels like a lot of effort goes into making a good figure video, and I just don't want to do it. Short version. But realistically, and I think the problem was just because I was doing them as sets for a while. Like I'd have like a whole AEW set, so I had to like cover 6 figures. So I think if I was to do these on a smaller, more regular scale, it wouldn't be so bad. But I usually do all my unboxings like at the end of the month, and so that's when it would be a little bit much. So I don't know. I do want to get back into it, and I'll probably stop making excuses sooner or later. Bonus points if you can name the place Roddy Piper was born in. Nobody other than a Canadian can really say the province. I mean, I feel like it's like Saskatchewan, but I don't know where that is in Canada. You know what I mean? Because like I know how I don't understand like how it's really broken up necessarily. Like you have like Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and like I don't know where like of that phrase. Like I don't know if it'd be like something Saskatchewan or Saskatchewan something Canada. But yeah, that's my only guess that I have. And it could be completely wrong altogether, honestly. But that's what I'm going to go with as my final answer because I don't have any other possible guesses. I only know so much about Canada. You know, I know Calgary because of what's his name, Bret Hart and Lance Storm. I know Winnipeg because of Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. And I know Toronto because I've been there. And also because of, I want to say Silverstein, the band might be from Toronto. Or maybe they just have a song about Toronto. Tegan and Sarah is also from Canada, but I don't know where in Canada. So there's that. And I can't think of where Alanis Morissette's from, but I know I knew at one point because I referred to it in a video. In my, let's see, where was it? It might have been it was my Peace Love Swoosh video, if I remember right. The Hirachi video. I want to say in that one, I wore an Alanis Morissette shirt, I think. I'm feeling like that's right. But either way, yeah. I can't think of, I don't know anything about Canadian geography and stuff. Big E is, I don't know, that's an awkward move all the time. Let's see. Now they're just going for power moves or something. I am in Toronto, and Christian Cage and Edge are from here. Alanis Morissette, Ottawa. Oh, okay. You know, I was thinking Ottawa when I thought Alanis, but then I was like, is that even right? Saskatchewan is 2 provinces west of Orlando. Okay. So, yeah, I went to Toronto in 2006 and 2007. And I stayed. I don't think it's there anymore. From what I heard, it was like either torn down or became something else. But I stayed at the Global Village Backpackers Hostel. It's a very colorful building. It's very cool too. You know, I had some really good times there. So just did that, hanging out with a couple friends of mine back in the olden days and stuff. So I want to go back. I just haven't. I did go back to Toronto. I went back to Canada in 2010. 2010. I went to, it's over on the west side, Vancouver. I went to Vancouver in 2010. That was cool. It was like not the best time to go there because I think I went in like February or something, so it was kind of cool, you know. But I had a good time. It was a very nice scenery. But Toronto, like one of these days, I'll probably make it back over there. I had a good time and all that stuff. I don't really remember much about what we did specifically because there was a lot of just kind of like walking around the city. Like we took a little boat across the water to some island, hung out there for a day or something. And a lot of it was also just kind of just me and like it was like a huge group of friends and stuff. So we were just kind of walking around, living the Canadian life for a little a little while. I think we were there for like 4 days, something like that. So yeah, it was a good time, man. I might have to go back and like look at some of those pictures and such later. So I remember like a friend and I, like, we didn't really know much about like the currency up there. So I had spent a lot of time trying to find him so we could like work our way through this airport or whatever. Eventually, after several phone calls and a very high phone bill later, we found each other. We got met up and all that good stuff. And I was like, "Hey, man, like, you got to buy this ticket from this bus station, and then that's how we're gonna get to where we're going." So I didn't know how much I spent on the ticket because I gave them some bill, and they gave me back a bunch of coins. I was like, "Well, one of these coins must be super valuable. Otherwise, I just probably overpaid for this ticket." It was more so the latter. Like, I bought the most expensive ticket for no reason. And so he buys it too. And we get on this bus and we ride off somewhere. And now it's hours after we were supposed to meet up with our other friend. So we're like, dude probably left that train station, but we should probably get off and like see if he's at least still there. So we got off the bus, walked in this train station, see like a million people everywhere. And it's like, okay, if he is here, we're not going to find him. So let's just leave. Maybe not the nicest way to do it, but like he's probably gone, so let's just go. But yeah, so from that point, we had gone like practically no distance whatsoever on that bus. And then we ended up just walking by foot like the next couple miles or something to the hostel. We got there, like it's for like 6 o'clock. We were supposed to be there like 1 o'clock or something. I don't know, man. It was bad. It was bad. But it all went into having a good time, because like, we get there and everybody's like, "So was your flight late or like what happened?" Like, no, everything was on time. We just ran into some issues. But yeah, the next year though, things went smooth. Wasn't it? No, the previous year things had gone so much smoother. So much smoother. I don't know what was going on the second time around. That place is still there. It's on King Street, which is downtown. If you ever need to know anything about Toronto, just message me on Twitter. All right, appreciate that. Yeah. Do I have you on? Because I don't have a whole lot of people on the Instagram thing. Like, what's your Instagram name? Because like, I might have you on. I don't know. But yeah, I do want to go back. I mean, even if it's not Toronto, somewhere else. But Toronto would be ideal, just because I really enjoyed it. So I'd like to see it again. Even though it's been a while. Yeah, I had heard something about it being closed or whatever, so that's why I thought it was gone. Maybe it was just closed, like maybe it's just one of those during the beginning of last year when a lot of places were closed. Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, I wouldn't mind going back up there, man. Also, spend a lot of, I won't say a lot of time, but spend a little bit of time seemingly every day there's a Tim Hortons that was like, I forget which direction it would be, but it was kind of like just straight down one of the streets. Well, I guess from what I've heard of Canada, there's one, if you go straight up down any street, you'll probably find one. But there was one straight down one of the streets, and I used to go there like with like one of the friends in our little group every morning, like get some hot chocolate and some donuts or something. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I haven't been able to do much traveling lately though, for some obvious reasons, but my passport's still got a few years on it. I just renewed it in 2019, so sooner or later I have to start getting that thing stamped again. The old one had all kinds of stamps in it, because when I was making my little trips through Europe and whatnot, just seeing all kinds of different places. I don't think all of them stamped it though, but most of them do. So it was kind of all right being able to go and see a bunch of stuff. And now I've just only seen in the last I've only been living back in Virginia for actually 2 years today, I think. I think 2 years today is like when I got back to Virginia. And since this time, I've only seen somewhere in Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and Iowa, and I guess Charleston, South Carolina, right? But really only one place that's actually like new, which is the Tennessee. So sooner or later, I'll start seeing the world again and all that good stuff. There's some places I'd like to go, people I want to visit, friends and whatnot. But until I'm a little more okay with like all the traveling and such, because like I need to have more time off of work to use and somewhere to go, like things to do. We'll see. We'll see when that happens. And until that happens, I'll be spending my money on action figures and shoes and concert tickets. Lots of concert tickets. Or sometimes just a single concert ticket that costs a lot of money. I don't know if you saw whatever video where I was ranting about my Chili Peppers ticket. Oh my God. It was like one ticket. I got the VIP thing, so that's part of the reason it was expensive, but it was like $460. So whatever they offer with this VIP experience better be amazing. And it's not even in like it's really close. It's a good seat. But man, like I kind of, in some ways, I'm wishing that I had just kind of bought like a further out seat where I could be in like the tiered seating. It's like, I'm a shorter dude, so my view is not always great. So I think I'll be like level with the crowd, I'll be like on the floor and stuff just behind general admission. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the view is going to be like, but every other time I've seen the Chili Peppers, that was a stupid ending. Every other time I've seen the Chili Peppers, it's been, well, no, I can't say that. 2 of the times it's been, no, 3? 3 of the 4 times that I've seen them, it's been in normal settings, where I had a decent seat. But the one time I saw them at Austin City Limits, it was so far back and like, you're like down on the lower level of like, people and just trying to make out what's going on. But when I saw them in Phoenix in 2018? No, 2017. When I saw them in Phoenix in 2017, like it was like the perfect seating, like it was like on the side, but it was like angled up so you could kind of get a good view of everything that was going on. I could catch like the light show from a really good angle because they had these lights on the ceiling. It was a really good time, man. So this time around, it's going to be at the National Stadium up in DC. It's like a baseball field. So I have my doubts on how that's going to go. Also, that match just ended 11:29. So when I said not going past 11:30, I was dead on. But yeah. So I'm curious how this is going to be. It's also going to be in August, and that's a time when it can be a little rainy around here. So I might end up in the middle of a field being rained on for 3 hours or whatever. So I don't know. I've got some concerns about this show. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well, but either way, it should still be enjoyable. I mean, I was rained on through the whole first time I saw them, but that was just because I was in an amphitheater in Charlotte, the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater in Charlotte. So I think I had lawn seating, or is it in the very back of the actual covered seating? So the rain was just coming in from all directions. Not ideal. Not ideal. Well, it looks like they are just going to go right off the air with him pointing at this sign to Survivor Series. All right, so there was that. A very underwhelming pay-per-view that I expected to be underwhelming. So it delivered on all my expectations. So saying that out loud makes me wish I had gone in with different expectations, and had it met those, would have been a pretty good night. But I did get a lot of these figures opened up, so tomorrow when I build this shelf, I'll be able to populate it with a bunch of these things. And I kind of forget how long it really takes to kind of open some of these things up, because I don't just tear into them like a savage, you know what I'm saying? When I was younger, that's what I did, but it's a little easier to throw these boxes away if they're not all kind of just torn to shreds with plastic everywhere. If you put them kind of back together or whatever, kind of like, put them back together, it takes up overall less room. So just something to think about if you're ever in the situation where you're going to open up a bunch of figures or whatever. Consider doing that. But we're good here. So I got some reviews that'll be trickling out over the next while. Still got to record the on feeds, but everything else is done. So those will probably start making their appearances on, we'll call it Wednesday morning. Maybe do like a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday sort of thing. I don't know. Try to spread stuff out just a little bit. But either way, if you want to see reviews on actual shoes and stuff, the whole thing that I normally do, like the on feet and all that, later this week, you should be seeing some left-handed Adidas, Ned Flanders, Simpsons, whatever, some white 450s, and some Midwest Kids Forum 84s. And possibly that March review if I ever decide to actually do it. For now, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Thank you to anybody who popped in for a little while. Some of you guys just kind of stayed in the shadows, and I totally get it. Some of you guys were kind of talking to me through this whole thing. That's cool too. Other people just like to listen. Hey, as long as you're here, that's really all that matters. So thanks again. I do appreciate that. But like I said, it's late. Got to go to bed and stuff. So later, people. Where is this end button? There we go.